Okay, we're going live. I'm gonna switch off the speaker.
Well, crush motherfuckers with our reverb.
Oh no!
Put the speaker right next to the mic. Let the fans hear.
God damn it! That'll.
This is what the three of you fuckers get for logging on with us. We're drunk. We don't give a shit.
This is the voice of my cousin Trevor that you're listening to for the first time.
Oh, my live will
streams.
fuck.
God damn it. Meanwhile, of course, as usual, I'm Ben Rodriguez, artist on the webcomic Peter's the Wolf. As typical, any opinions expressed by myself are strictly mine alone and do not reflect upon Chris Overstreet, White Lining Productions, Comics of Beta, and Palladium Books, or any other companies I happen to freelance for. And Robert Rogers, Suppman, Cody Upert, lol. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, guys.
All my opinions are the express opinions of Palladium Incorporated.
Oh, god damn it.
So, what do you think of abortion? I've got some strong thoughts on the subject. Palladium thinks this.
God, dude, no. Oh my gosh. Wait, you mean I gotta write in... Damn, why are these not... These are like, what is it? Tolerance 50. These things be just... Oh, that's why it's freaking contiguous. Got it locked in contiguous instead of non-contiguous. Like an idiot. Let's see, what else are we doing?
Is there a chat feature on this?
Yeah, you can see right over there.
Oh, is that the chat?
Yeah, that's the chat.
Oh.
So, I mean, you could use your...
But don't I have to get an account on this thing? This is like live.
Yeah, or... One moment. I mean, you can... You can... Oh, shit. No, you can't. That cord will not reach.
Failure.
You know, this thing is hooked up with Bluetooth and a Bluetooth keyboard.
Fuck it. I'll just figure out where the live
at
stream
some point, we can...
I don't know.
Yes, hello, there's the chat feature. Yep. If you guys aren't noticing, I'm reading off the screen right now, and hey, I'm not flipping back and forth towards the infinite screen of doom, and there's a reason for that. It's because I have a new second screen. One that I bought this new second screen, and you're gonna see that I've got photos of it on my Facebook page saying, "Oh yeah." Then we realized it doesn't have mounting brackets for this style of mount that I wanted to get. So,
well, hold up, this is hilarious because Ben goes like, "Oh man, it would be awesome. I could optimize my work if I get 2 screens. This is gonna be so sweet." So he goes on Amazon, give me a new screen, a new Acer monitor. Comes in the mail, awesome. We hook the 2 of them up, great. You know what I need? I need a double bracket mount. One of the ones that you can just plug it into the back of the screen. Comes in, well, fuck, the screen I just ordered doesn't have a mount in the back.
So now I've got to look for I've got to send this thing back and get one. Why do they call it blue ears? Cody Opert, Bluetooth. Why don't they call it blue ears? You know, because I think eventually they're planning to make them implants that will actually have in your teeth and it'll work by bone conduction. Dude, that's so sci-fi, you know?
That's Metal Gear right there.
Exactly. And the Godzilla movies are actually about about the bombing of Hiroshima.
What if they come up with a what is it, SOCOM? No, Kodak. You gonna try Gene today? I wonder what's your favorite character, Ben.
Oh man, if we switch to a Picarto stream, maybe, you'll see what I've got, a little bit of previewing of Gene that I'm trying to work off because the boss man is upset with me for going off script with a little tickling thing, but god damn it, her butt, Sarah's butt in the air was too cute to go by, to back away from, for me personally. Sorry. But this page is all Junie. her name is Juniper. Her brother's name is Lee. It was completely accidental because they're both named after. Juniper is named after the tree because it's twisted, and she is. Lee is, and this is from Chris, and her brother Lee Stebbins is named after a character from the Nero Wolfe mysteries. And he didn't even realize when he was naming the characters. Oh yeah, there's also that Juniper Lee cartoon. Shit, yeah. So that was like completely unintentional.
Did you hide Peter as a background Easter egg in this thing? Because I was looking over these sketches earlier. Where's the one with a bus in the background?
Oh no, that was.
There's a character with a large, fluffy.
Oh yeah, that was last week's page though.
Oh,
that was in last week's page that you see Peter getting off the bus in the background.
so it was Peter.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's going home through the front door in the checkpoint, and of course, Juniper here has quickly, stealthily circled around the back. Selection, rotate. What? No, edit, rotate. Transform, rotate.
Yeah, so Ben, have you ever heard of the Kodak for Metal Gear?
Oh yeah,
You know
yeah.
what that is?
Yeah, I've seen enough fan films and jokes and stuff to understand what's going on with.
Because that's really what a blue ear is. Because what it is, it's a device that stimulates the small bones in your ear, and that's how allegedly you can hear and no one else can hear you.
But what I'm gonna let's see.
Of course, it makes some really awkward scenes where sometimes two people want to have a private conversation. So Snake will just sit there in a corner of the room, and people are literally just staring at him for like 20-minute cutscenes. Like, sup, dude? just sit there, crouch, ignoring me. That's cool.
What is the? Yeah, and you can see I did this in red pencil, which is not my favorite for doing the pages because the pages have blue lines already on them, and mix red and blue, you get this weird purple that's a little bit tricky to mess with. Of course, Cody Upert, because of course Juniper wouldn't simply use the front entrance. Nah, she's a backdoor kind of girl, I guess. I don't know. We have her basically sneaking around to the back of the building.
So like entering the back door.
Jeez. And climbing up the side of the lot of the apartment to the lodge. Edit. Stroke. It's a very talkative page this time around because, well, okay, you actually know it's not. There's actually no dialogue at all. There's like the second page in the general audience section with absolutely no. Let's see, delete. Select inverse. Absolutely no dialogue. Which is kind of funny.
Robert wants his commission. He'll get to it right when he's in the middle of his triple double shift.
Yeah.
I've actually been here since I've...
Also, I feel the Mission Impossible theme should be playing. Cody Ever's question, of course, going back to Arcade. Guys, have any of you heard about the recent post by a Batman artist? Which Batman artist was that? Pat something Robert... God, it almost sounded like Pat Robertson's name.
Talking about the cosplay guy?
Yeah. You gonna pull up that comment, Trevor, on your laptop?
Sure.
So I can keep on working here. Because there were just so many articles written about the rage around it. Okay. Favorite crazy, Tim G250. Favorite crazy with the fluffy pigtails. Yep.
Let's see. Here's a link. Gonna click on the internet. Did you upgrade the internet when you went to pay the bill today?
No.
Ah.
Why?
Need more internet. Let's see. Pat Broderick.
Yeah. I made those comments about how cosplayers don't contribute anything, and I mentioned on my Facebook that My opinion is kind of halfway between agreement in that there's a whole psychology to costuming and people coming out of their shells through costume and everything, but at the same time, cosplay over just regular dressing up. I mean, when they start calling themselves cosplayers, they're especially on the internet, they just seem to come with that and CGL a unique kind of drama that really wasn't part of the old sci-fi cons and comic book conventions, or even ones that had rather elaborate costume contests and whatever beforehand. God, these things just seem to have been imported from Japan, or at least it's just a weeaboo thing. I don't know. Maybe it was because you had such a sudden influx of just so many young people doing this, particularly young women.
See, Robert wants to know: have we seen the new Deadpool trailer? Since we're on the topic of comic books.
If we're talking about the one that was like that teaser thing,
The animated one with Ryan Reynolds doing it?
Yeah, doing the voice. Yeah, I've seen it.
I think it's a new one that dropped.
Oh, there's a new. Oh no, I haven't seen a new one then
Let's
though.
see what I can pull up.
I'm all for Ryan Reynolds returning to Deadpool though, even though I didn't see him in the.
I'm all for Ryan Reynolds getting another crack at Deadpool.
Yeah.
I think when he was the opening of that movie, when he was Wade Wilson, was outstanding, even with the shitty CG they used in that movie, and they just let him go. At the end of the movie, not so much. But you know what? That's not Ryan Reynolds' fault. The directors and the producers made some choices. I don't necessarily agree with those choices.
Yeah, and Ryan Reynolds himself, I've liked a lot of his roles.
He's great.
I've got a copy of Just Friends somewhere. I've got I mean, I didn't even go when I saw the posters for Van Wilder, National Lampoon's Van Wilder. I was like, oh, this looks like bullshit. And then it's still one of my favorite comedies.
I like it.
Of this era of that era to this day, and it's just I love his style of delivery. And waiting, and that's why he'd be perfect for a character like Deadpool. But what do you think, Trevor, on those comments? Do you think they were just bullshit to you, or?
I'm sorry. Which comments?
The cosplay comments, Broderick's cosplay comments. Do you think those just butthurt from a narcissistic artist, maybe?
It depends on the point of view you take it from. I could take devil's advocate on damn near anything, and it's really the way that you look at it and stuff. You're looking at preserving the way that the community used to be before. Then yeah, I can see how one would look at cosplay as a distraction if you're taking away from the core purity of the comic books or whatever and stuff. But you know what? Cosplay is there to help individuals get it does multiple things. One, it helps people like celebrate their love of various properties and characters and things of that nature. And yeah, it is like, putting on another face is a great way for a lot of introverted people to get out there and connect with other people who share their interests and stuff. And just like, someone who goes out and puts on a band t-shirt and stuff to say, hey, I like this band, come talk to me if you also like this band and we can talk about this band. Like, I can dress up as Sephiroth, and if you want to fuck in the shower, you call me up and we can get this done.
Oh God.
So I think it has a place. I don't think it definitely comes with its own bag of issues, but I don't think it's any fucking great Satan that's single-handedly destroying any kind of industry.
And I truly hope somebody gets the joke of the way I specifically drew her climbing up the side of this building. It's very unrealistic climbing pose.
They just got the rights to make that, to release it on Blu-ray and DVD.
Yeah.
Say Meloralat. What does that mean? I don't understand.
It is a monster from a different role-playing game series. Oh, friggin' boy. And it's his way of saying hello. Melor.
Konnichiwa.
Uh, as for it though, but I've kind of been in the. There's a lot of times where just the added distraction of people walking around in costumes and goofing off. If you're like Pat and you're there to try and make some money, you know, there's this thing of like you'll see as an artist alley person, you know, people just walk, you know, suddenly get distracted by the, you know, out of the peripheral vision, a cosplayer go to follow that cosplayer, to get a photo, hound down that cosplayer to get a photo, and then all of a sudden you've lost a sale. That person, you're never going to see them again that weekend, and you multiply that by a few thousand times over a decade, and it's going to wear down on you. The people blaring, you know, the latest mimetic dance song or whatever, and whatnot.
Well, there on that, as someone who at various conventions has had to run security in the dealer's room. If you want to look at it from that narrow point of view and stuff, sure, I can understand where a hatred of cosplay will come from. But I'm also at the firm opinion that freaking not necessarily cosplaying and stuff, but taking pictures should be prohibited in the dealer's room, only because there's so many people
blocking traffic.
It does nothing but create so many problems.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I can understand why some people are like, oh, I need to catch this picture of someone because I might not be able to run into him again in the craziness that's outside a normal convention and stuff. But dude, you're shutting down traffic everywhere when you do that.
Oh yeah.
So I'm thinking like, hey, maybe if cosplayers weren't allowed to take pictures in the dealer's room, that would go a long thing. Cody has a question that I know you don't know too much about. This one might be one for me.
Speaking of Sephiroth,
have you heard about this story?
Anyone else feel like Square Enix trolled the heck out of Final Fantasy VII fans again?
Do you know?
What is this? Explain this one to me,
Okay,
Trev.
so I think it was Sony just had a press conference showing its lineup of what's coming on in the years to come, and Square Enix is doing its presentation. And now, if you know Final Fantasy VII, ever since they did the PlayStation 3 tech demo, where they remade the opening of Final Fantasy VII, where Cloud is hopping on a train and then he jumps off and attacks some guards. They recreated that with PS3 graphics. Ever since then, Final Fantasy fans, myself included, have been like, "Oh my God, they're gonna make a remake of Final Fantasy VII with all these updated graphics. Oh my God, it's gonna be so sweet and stuff." Like, no, that's just a tech demo. Every year it's like, oh, are they going to make that remake? Oh, are they going to make that remake? It's like, oh, nope, not good. So last week, Sony had a press conference, and the Square Enix presenter came up there, and he was like, oh, I've got a big announcement for you guys. It's talking real slow and everything. Something that I know will make a lot of you guys really happy. We're announcing Final Fantasy VII on the PS4. But it's not a remake, it's the port of the original Final Fantasy VII on the PS4.
Damn, that is some epic level trolling. That is holy shit, man.
Many people were quite butthurt about it.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's weird thing.
Seriously, me and Trevor were just driving around, tooling around, running errands today, and there's this, you know, from comicbook.com, they run a story that there's going to be a Men in Black 21 Jump Street crossover, and they're both Sony properties, and I'm just like, Sony has completely lost their fucking mind, ever-loving mind. Pardon my French. But seriously, they have no idea how to handle a property anymore.
Well, that's not Sony. That's Square Enix that made that announcement.
Yeah.
And as far as Sony's concerned, PlayStation 4 is doing great. It's of all of the Sony empire, it's the only thing that's doing well, because the grand Sony Zaibatsu, so to say, the PlayStation 4 is a relatively small part of the entire empire. It's got a movie wing, it's got primarily the electronics wing. It's supposed to be moving a lot of money. Problem is, that's all DVD players and TVs, but nobody really wants these new TVs, and nobody really already has a DVD player.
Yeah, the
Blu-ray didn't really take off. And the movies kind of suck right now. So
yeah, I mean,
they needed Spider-Man. Spider-Man made its money back. It made a profit. They needed it to do a lot more money than it actually pulled in. And you can already see that they were like Kind of like, oh man, we're gonna have a Sinister Six movie, and we're gonna have freaking a Venom movie, and we're gonna have like 8,000 more sequels. Let's keep this license keep running and stuff. Let's make a whole Marvel empire with just Spider-Man. And Spider-Man 2 comes out, and isn't that impressive?
Yeah.
And like, all right, we need to consider.
Well,
maybe Disney will give us some money if we sell this shit back.
But that's...
Because I gotta pay my rent.
Yeah, and that's part of the problem was they just... the bane of almost every superhero movie is juggling villains. You know, once you get more than 2 villains on screen, it just bogs down the whole goddamn process. You know, either you can't develop the character of any villain and therefore their story and, you know, how they antagonize the hero, or... And what was it? Some reviews were basically saying that the Electro's character, who is for some reason now the leader of the Sinister Six, his story was basically the Riddlers from Batman, or from the 3rd Batman movie.
I haven't heard that one. I don't see the connection there.
Val Kilmer Batman?
Because it's not even like
the Jim Carrey one or something.
Electro's not the leader. He's a lackey at best.
Okay.
It's Green Goblin who's the main.
All right.
Go at that.
Then why did they make the box of the DVD thing, Blu-ray
Well,
thing?
because ostensibly it's
Yeah.
because I don't even know of how much Green Goblin was really going to be involved when they did the first several drafts of the movie.
Yeah.
It was very much a Spider-Man versus Electro movie, but once the balls start rolling and Spider-Man or Avengers started making all the
what
money
the
it made,
fuck happened?
they want money. Everybody with a superhero license, they want to be making Avengers
I'm
money
saying,
right
I'm
now.
saying, what did I do here?
Oh.
Image size.
Oh, I don't know.
How the hell you saw the original sheet here?
What are we missing here? I am not seeing the difference.
I've got this huge block of space at the bottom of the page.
Oh, you didn't.
No, I went through the whole blue border, man.
Fuck, I don't know.
What is with these Canson art boards? I love the paper, but okay, I got a note to self. These things are way mismeasured.
Let's see. Cody's saying he's only seen Spider-Man from 2002. Not the one that Toby. Is that the first Toby?
Yeah,
Maguire movie?
the Tobey Maguire ones. That's that.
Hey Cody, when's the last time you've seen that movie? That movie does not hold up well. It was great in 2002. You know what? And I think
nobody
Spider-Man
was doing
2,
it. Yeah, when nobody was doing a halfway decent superhero movie. But honestly, there are some things that hold it up. Just that stylistic Raimi comedy.
The comedy, you know, the
also,
comedy fits great with Spider-Man. Spider-Man loves fucking comedy.
Yes, because he's supposed to be like a wisecracking character, right?
If Spider-Man,
but the thing is, also what I like, remember the reason why that was so well received when it first came out too, is that was also coming off like the most popular superheroes at the time were the X-Men, where everybody got black leather, and Blade was out, and it was a popular one, but black leather. It was all the superheroes at that point were black leather.
Well, no,
Gimp Squad guys.
The movie was funny, like Spider-Man's supposed to be. Freaking, the graphics were outstanding at the time.
Yeah.
But in this age of fast developing technology, 10 years is not great and stuff. And some of the decisions they made, apparently they had a full prosthetic mask for, it was basically like a modified green face paint.
Yeah.
For, who's the guy who played
Green Goblin?
Liam Dafoe. No,
Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe.
There we go. And he's got
Sexy beast.
He's a great actor. He's also got a very interesting face, I'll say.
Yeah.
That you put some makeup on there, like, yeah, that guy looks like a goblin. But no, it was one of those things where they played it safe and they wanted that guy, the goblin look to be, what's the word, a little bit more accessible. I don't know.
So they went with the metal mask thing. That
yeah, as one of the commenters just said a while ago, I think it was Cody, said, yeah, it's movie executives ruining things. That's actually ultimately what happened to Spider-Man 3 too. Also,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Sam Raimi
And
wanted
once
to,
again
wanted,
3 villains.
No, Sam Raimi wanted Sandman. He wanted to make a Spider-Man versus Sandman movie. So Sony execs came in and said, you have to put Venom in here because Venom's the most popular character.
Yeah.
And we're paying out the ass for James Franco. We need to wrap up this Goblin storyline. So it was supposed to be one movie, got split into 3 partial movies.
Yeah.
And each of those movies, you know what the weird thing is? Almost all of those things work individually well as themselves. But strung together, it falls apart.
Yeah, it just becomes the typical.
Topher Grace is not a huge, mostly bulky guy, but he had a very interesting take on Venom.
Yeah, the Venom origin and whatnot. Yeah, I had a very interesting take.
Sandman had some really questionable science about how he got a thing, but that scene where he gets turned into Sandman and he's like trying to grasp the locket of his daughter and stuff, that's a great scene.
Yeah, and
it's the scientist like, oh, there was a bird in there. Oh, well, fuck it. I guess let's just hit the button anyway. And for... As I said, James Franco playing Harry Osborn, having not much to do in the last 2 movies, James Franco was acting his ass off in the 3 scenes that he had in that movie and stuff. He just needed more.
Yeah, it needed to either, and that's the problem. Maybe they should have just had a James Franco going full tilt and just ignored the other 2 villains because the Green Goblin. Because I mean, that could have been an interesting thing. It could have been a Spidey versus Goblin trilogy, really wrapping up and beginning and ending with goblins, and could have made a much more personal story.
The comics make this problem or do this mistake every once in a while and stuff of you can't lean too heavily on the goblins because it's just like it's an interesting dynamic, but it gets old after a while. Just like you can't have Batman fighting the goddamn Joker every fucking time.
Throw in Calendar Man every once in a while.
No matter how good it is, they just start hitting the same notes. And Spider-Man has like one of the best individual rogue galleries, because in the grand scheme of things, Spider-Man, although he's a hero and he always wins and stuff, but in how he's like viewed in most of the Marvel universe, he's kind of like a shitty hero who just barely pulls by in the skin of his teeth, and for the most part. His villains are also just kind of assholes with powers, or just fucking, just stumbling into superhero heroic conflicts and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's
Electro, Shocker, who's like the poor man's Electro, even though he came out first. He's just a guy he was a bank robber who got these sonic gloves. Like, I'm just gonna keep robbing banks with these sonic gloves, I guess. I'm gonna wear a quilt because that's cool.
Yeah.
Now Cody's saying he's waiting for Avengers 2 to come out. Have you seen Avengers?
Yeah, I saw Avengers. I've been up to breast with all the MCU except for Thor 2. I can watch that on cable on demand, but I just haven't demanded to watch it still.
A lot of people like it. I disliked it. I really disliked it.
I got like maybe 10, 15 minutes in. I was trying to watch it, and the fact the first battle reminded me heavily of a Kevin Sorbo Hercules episode. That's the thing. Compare the first fight on the first Thor movie. It's fucking giants and and he's whipping the hammer through ice giants and shit and kicking ass, and then this one is like just looks like some guys in Power Rangers standby villain costumes rounding up the traditional why does it look like they're dressed in Middle Ages gear and housing. It's seriously, it looks like
it's a Red Fest.
It fucking, yes, which means there must be a great riff tracks episode for Thor 2.
Thor comes down and is a dick to the local Renaissance fair.
Goddamn.
Wins glory for Asgard.
Huzzah!
They even say in the movie, like, he just flies down and hits the biggest guy he can find with his hammer, and the other team quits and stuff. And they even say in the movie, like, why didn't we do that to start? It's like, that's a good point. Why didn't you do that to start with? Why did they have this whole scene cut out?
Yeah, it's way too, or it should have been like way different. But and that's
King
the
Tut
guy just
versus Batman.
King Tut versus. Oh, gosh. Speaking of, but back to the Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi Spidey.
Mm-hmm.
I do have, at least for that one, the riff tracks. So we can watch that at some point.
Like I said, when's the last time you've seen Spider-Man, the original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man? It doesn't need a riff track. It's aged poorly. Me and my friends, like, I'm a big Marvel nerd and shit, and one of my buddies had on a large pic, or maybe it was a gift from like a relative or something, one of those cheesy, you find it at the Walmart games for idiots section and stuff, like, hey, play the Marvel's Have You Seen It movies and stuff. It was like a trivia, like a DVD-based trivia game.
Oh, those always go so well. That is literally a game you can only play once.
No.
If that.
Because one of those things, like, well, yeah, sure, they're referencing the movies a lot, but they also had a lot of questions that were referencing the video games.
Oh.
Or not the video games, but the actual comic books. And me and my friends, we know a lot about freaking Marvel comic books.
Oh.
And we had some of the most intense trivia contests, like, first to the buzzer, what's Moon Knight's real name?
Oh, man.
But I bring that up because they would, like, every time they'd ask a question about one of the movies, they would show a clip from the movie, and X-Men, it's old, it kind of holds up because they weren't trying to push the budget too far and stuff. And Fantastic Four is Fantastic Four. I don't think that was popular in 2004.
That was another unfortunately directionless film. I think they weren't pushing the budget too far, and they really didn't have that many ideas to begin with.
Good evening, Sleepy Dave. How you doing? Have you heard what they're going to be doing with the new Fantastic Four?
Yeah, the casting didn't matter too much to me. Moreover, the way everything started to look.
Let's talk about the casting first, just so everyone knows. So they announced that they had some people on there. I can't even remember any of the names.
Well, the thing that everybody lost their spaghetti over was a black Johnny Storm.
Yep.
Honestly, I can deal with that, but the irritating thing is if you're going to go with a black Johnny Storm, you should have a black female actress playing Sue Storm.
One of them could be adopted.
Either of them could be adopted, or maybe they could be half brother and half sister, which will then make all your and actually with adoption or step siblings, then all your incest fics are a lot less disturbing, ladies. So get writing.
What?
But
I'm gonna stop you right there. I am a because there's no cameras on us right now. I am mixed right now. My mother is white. My father is black. I am a mixed race individual.
We should point this out.
From that point of view, I hate it whenever people in the or shows in the media would be like, oh, well, they had a relationship, so we have one set of pairings where the offspring is pure white and one offspring where there's pure black. No, you're gonna get some shades of caramel in there. I tell you what, one of those kids is not gonna look like the other.
That's gonna be the one thing that we're okay. Yeah, you can maybe get away with one of being. But honestly, but since they did that, I'm really interesting. Like, who would you go with for an African American or just a black actress? Because I mean, really, if it's what's her name?
What's her name? I don't know. What's she in?
After Rose Tyler.
Oh,
there's
Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Amy Pond?
No, before 10th Doctor.
Donna? Oh no, the black one. The black one.
The black woman.
Oh, one.
Obviously, I cannot remember her name though.
As an African American, yeah. Here, hold on. One second. Pause. I want to comment on that. We're sitting here. I've watched all of Doctor Who. Ben doesn't know much about Doctor Who. He's just somewhat aware of it and stuff. We're sitting like, who's that one? Oh, the most popular companion. Oh, Rose Teller. No, the other one. Amy Pond. The other one. Donna is keep going down the list. The black one?
Yes, but
no name for Martha.
There we go.
I know it's Martha Jones.
Martha Jones.
I didn't come to it immediately.
But see,
The one I always
but
forget exists.
no, yeah, the one, and she's the one that I can only really distinctly remember seeing it because black woman and like always really, kind of looks nice in those lab coaty kind of things you want. But the
Martha was great. I want to say about that. Martha was great. But and some people say, oh well, she was the black one, so she's not as memorable.
But I was going to say
she was just not as memorable a character, honestly.
They didn't do much with her, right then, but she was more of like because that's where they shuffled her off to you work with Unit, right? She ended up heading up. That's why.
She was basically Rose Light. She was a doctor, which made her way smarter than Rose, but they never actually
had her do anything.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah. That's I think one of the things that got the way for her was they had her be black.
To my knowledge, the only time her medical training came back was when they went back in time and she was undercover in Victoria times, and she had like, oh, I know how to do this because I've had medical training. And like, you can't have medical training back here because you're black, and that's the only time her being a doctor fucking played into anything that I can remember.
Yeah. So which must have been why they replaced her with the runaway bride, essentially. Donna, right?
Yeah, Donna. She was because you remember it's like okay, no more romance storyline, and Donna had so much character to her and stuff. She was funny and she was sassy and.
But the actress herself is a very good-looking woman.
Oh, Martha.
Yeah, the woman who plays Martha Jones. So man, imagine her as Susan Storm then. That'd be kind of a very interesting casting.
That's fair. Well, forgot
Freema. Benjamin?
Yeah, that's
Spanish?
No, probably English or some sort, but that's
no, it was the SP there. I don't know, but
because he doesn't know how to if that's the correct spelling. Yeah, it's her name's Freema. It's the person who plays Martha Jones. She's got a real fucking weird name. Let me Google.
Either way, either way, but that was the only thing that hung me up, and I was like, but it was for me. It was not even really a steampunk. It was not so much of a thing that I'd rage against. More than I raged about the way they made Dr. Doom. Oh. It's like that was the thing that was like, what the hell?
I think I told you about that one. For the audience, if you guys
he looked like a raisin again. the armor or whatever it was supposed to be looked like it looked like bark.
Oh, you're talking about for the original movie.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you're talking about the new movie.
Well, no, or the new one.
The new movie.
It looked what the hell. There was some pictures of what it was supposed to be.
No, the thing for the new one is they haven't showed anything. One, they said, okay, the first controversy was, oh, we're going to make Johnny Storm black. Oh, there's a conversation to be had there, but moving on. They said that they're going to make Dr. Doom. He's not a doctor, he's not a ruler of a foreign European nation and an evil mastermind. He's like an internet blogger and. Dr. Doom 0, 426, Blaze It Up is going to be his blog handle of the social network that he runs, and apparently, not many people like Fantastic Four, but it has a very strong fan base.
People who are fans of them are very dedicated for
good reason. Really, Fantastic Four is some of the most they go on some of those craziest, most adventurous adventures ever.
Here's the thing. You know what? What is every other fucking Marvel movie at this point? Shoot in New York, shoot in California, shoot in New York. Here's the great thing about Dr. Doom as the ruler of Latveria. Gives you an excuse to film in Prague or something. Film in,
Well, that's what I was saying.
Cut your budget. Film foreign location, and you've got a reason to be there.
What I'm saying, the Fantastic Four, they go on some of the most fantastical and bizarre adventures in the entire Marvel Universe. And they're saying that they want to make this new Fantastic Four movie a much more grounded, down-to-earth adventure.
Oh.
Which is like, why are you even fucking trying? What the fuck is this?
When do we get... I just want to know when we get our sensational She-Hulk movie. That's the one I want.
When her book can last a fucking year, it's being canceled again, and people love it because it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like, and that's the thing. We gotta, there's a well-established,
Here we go.
I think stream of
Tim
fun.
G is saying that the Martha Jones is half black and half Iranian, which I will believe it. And you know, like, does this would
Yes,
when we're
I
just
would
talking about,
accept her as a Sue Storm. I would accept her in spandex any day.
but does she look like she's all of one race compared to
Yeah,
me? No.
but also, I mean,
Because there's like the show How I Met Your Mother.
Much better than
There's a
Jessica Alba,
subplot
right?
where Neil Patrick Harris and Wayne Brady are by blood siblings. You remember what Wayne Brady looks like?
oh gosh, yeah.
Now
The
look
man who
at
has to choke a bitch?
look at Wayne Brady here, and you tell me this man is half white. Look at him. Now look at me. Look back at him and look back at me.
Look at him. Look at me. Now look at
One of us has Aryan ancestry.
one of us has diamonds. They're now that ticket, that thing you like.
One of us can own land.
Better a She-Hulk movie. Better than a She-Hulk movie would be a She-Hulk TV show.
I want to remind the audience that I am black, so one, I can make racist remarks.
Oh no!
Two,
Please.
all the everything that I say is the express opinion of Chris Overstreet.
God, dude. But on to now that we're on. But I think we can skip to the next topic because Morgan. I bring him up every once in a while during my streams. You'll know him as the con chair for YomaCon. Another person whose opinions I do not represent. But here's the thing. Last weekend, he went to a furry convention for business and whatnot, as he often does. We hit up the places all over the place. We hit up conventions left and right of every kind. So he found himself in Chicago last weekend. And I don't know if you guys know what went down there specifically.
They're still talking about She-Hulk.
Check, still going on about She-Hulk.
Jennifer Walters, superhero, superhuman attorney at law.
God. Well,
Jennifer
it's been a while
Walters,
since Natalie
attorney
McNeil.
at law.
But yeah, here's Cody. Yep. Yeah, you heard about the Cody.
The Cody attack.
The chlorine attack.
We have our suspects.
We have our person of interest, and it is you. Yeah, he was there for that. So was several other of our friends. And if you could look at Facebook, you'll see just about anybody who was part of it has posted on it. Oni Hartstein, who wasn't there, she was in, she's doing her usual thing in New Jersey, but she really put out a ranty blog about this, and not about the initial incident. Everybody's reading. Okay, so you guys are reading up. Kato's saying he's read up on it a little. Basically, somebody had put chlorine powder and some kind of some other liquid, so that it would, like some liquid, so that when it would dry, it would turn into it would dissolve and dry and turn into vapor as it dried up again, creating chlorine gas. And this is very deliberate. It was done on the 9th floor stairwell, and it sank down, affecting rooms down to the 2nd floor stairwell. 19 people were hauled off to the hospital, and many paramedics vehicles. I mean, it started with everybody getting rushed out. There's an alarm. They sounded a little alarm. Everybody kind of calmly had to collect everything and figure out what they were going to next do for the now, and is waiting outside. And people had pulled stupid shit. They had pulled fire alarms and what have you before at Midwest Fur Fest. It's a furry convention, and I think this one, because it's in the Chicagoland area, is just more primely located to get some of the hate that you don't see. You don't see them pulling, tripping bullshit over at, Furry Week in Atlanta, and not in the same, or Anthrocon. No, I don't think anybody's tried to even fuck with Anthrocon.
I try not to fuck with any large collection of werewolves.
But
not without an ample supply of silver and garlic.
and then they started noticing that, oh yeah, there's the fire brigade. Okay, we expected those guys to check everything out, but then all of a sudden you got a bunch of police and FBI vehicles starting showing up, paramedics. You had ambulances showing up from different counties, and that's when everybody kind of outside realized, oh, there's something serious went down, something out of the norm. Now, the reason why this story really rustled Oni's Jimmy's is the reason why it rustled her Jimmy's is because news coverage of it. I mean, it starts off with standard thing releases and news, local news, and then when it started hitting the national news, Morning Joe with Joe Scarborough, formerly of Fox News, now of MSNBC, which can kind of point to exactly how his career path has gone. On that show, they were basically making light of the whole fucking thing. MSNBC was big assholes. Well, somebody just raffled at Trevor, so Cody Oper just raffles for Trevor.
Oh,
so,
I saw that.
Oh, so I've got looks like I've got an official co-host now, guys. We are officially a real podcast.
I will be your Chris
Antista I won't leave,
to your Henry Gilbert.
And I won't leave Fox. And I will not leave Fox News out dry because swinging here because they actually had. They were one of the news groups that directly said it's domestic. It is according to the letter of the law. This shit's domestic terrorism. They've taken it very seriously, and in fact, some of the furries were mentioning. One furry mentioned on Facebook was, he sent a nice note to them thanking them for not trying to make light of this and shit and giving it the respect it deserves because holy shit. And we've all kind of known these and I hope nobody's really paying. I really hope nobody on an international level is paying attention, because that's one of the things about fan conventions is they are incredibly vulnerable in their own ways. I mean, it's a lot of young people, and if somebody really wanted to hurt people,
I said this earlier. I still think that if this was the National Republican, the GOP Midwest Fur Fest 2014, Fox News and Fox with Friends in the Morning would be like, these bastards are trying to threaten my God-given right to dress up as a Nico-chan.
Well,
where's the sanctity of my yiffing pile?
Well, honestly, then you'd if it was an NRA convention, somebody had on Steve. I posted the story to Steve Bennett, so he in Japan, he'd be informed too because he was kind of hearing little bits and pieces. Started just finally hearing about it.
Well, I don't know,
but
about the NRA, like someone tried to gas at NRA because all those people with guns. It would be like as soon as an attack happened, all those people with their itchy trigger fingers would go and be like, "What is the?
What is the thing in the world I'm most big enough about?" The police would not have a person of interest. They would have a bullet-riddled corpse.
It would be a Call of Duty event as everyone's just like, nope, there was an attack. I know it was those insert Blake here thing I'm mad at. It was clearly them.
Here's the thing, man. If this was shit, you know what? If this happened at a conservative event, realistically, in my opinion, you'd probably be hearing MSNBC saying, well, it's the culture of these right-wing extremists. Of course, they brought it on themselves. They'd do some kind of blame the victim shit. One of the talkers said heads on MSNBC didn't know what a furry was, and when they showed her on air, she broke down laughing and had to flee the set. Yep, that's basically what happened. It might not have been her laughing, but she did flee the set while they're showing stock footage. I mean, it's kind of making the rounds of YouTube now, and of course, any YouTube channel that posts it has a bunch of comments of fur fags and stuff, and the typical internet trolls, and but really what pisses people off about the story is we can expect the peanut gallery to be assholes. I mean, this is the internet. We're big kids, we could deal with that. But the supposed news fucking professionals, this is how you act to this shit? oh, let's make it it's the morning news, so we better make it all giggles and shits. You know, what the fuck? It'll be surprising to see it'll be interesting to see how fast we get an apology, if we get one, because MSNBC tends to take people who they don't give a fuck about and who do not give a fuck. You know, they take Olbermann on, and they take is Anderson Cooper on there now? Olbermann didn't even last there. He ended up on what, Al Jazeera, because he was such a I can't even remember where the hell he is now. He was such an asshole that they actually shuffled him off the fourth rate 24-hour news network.
I think Anderson Cooper needs his own freaking news network to himself.
Well, really, that's almost what everybody's doing now anyways. You know, they'll have their .com, and ends up becoming like their own little mini personal news channel with premium subscribers, and they all do, I mean, if they weren't capable of doing AM radio, they'll still do they'll do a podcast instead, and that'll be premium memberships, and you can go back into the archive or whatever. Some of them actually stream, but a lot of them could. A lot of them before this could never have hacked it on the AM dial, taking callers and shit. And I think talk radio itself is a bit of a dying art.
Well, talk radio is moving on to podcast and live streaming. Why should I listen to a series, a blanket statement of general factoids when I could listen to something that's very honed in on my interests?
Well, in general, if general news coverage and editorial commentary is your interest, that was kind of well. The thing is talk radio itself, when it really hit its boom in the 80s and 90s with the likes of Rush Limbaugh. I mean, they give you their opinion. So they basically, I mean, really, Rush Limbaugh kind of was a pioneer of what we'd call the modern messenger board system. If you notice these shows, it was always host begins with monologue. The monologue is the clickbait, is the trolling comment on a post thread, right? And then everybody else starts calling in with their commentary or their agreement or disagreement and fighting with the host. And really what's killed it hasn't been it's not been television or whatever that's killed it. Although really it's fun to watch when news channels try to also do streaming and start getting trolled through internet comments, or when they have to read off the name of the person reading it and it's obvious the person made this account just
I really don't like it. I was actually the other day I was using your dad's car, and I had my battery on my phone to run out, so all right, I'm gonna hit the radio, see what's on, and boom, up comes Republican brand radio.
Yeah,
all that's fine. I said, oh, okay, some interesting opinions.
What
there's
hour of the day?
There's about 2-ish, or it was Sean Hannity I was listening to.
Oh, okay.
I'm not saying anything blanket. There was some good points.
That is the Will Ferrell. He is the Will Ferrell Spartan cheerleaders of talk radio hosts. Which is why I did like him and when it was Hannity and Combs, because you had this liberal talk radio host, you had this conservative one, and both were just straight up talking points cheerleaders who you knew were secretly attracted to each other. So I mean the Yowie fix just flew from my keyboard like, oh yes, Haruhi, you have nothing on what I'm going to ship tonight. They had on experts.
I want to take sides. He was making some points I agree with. He was making some points I don't agree with. But I did notice that there was a common thread in all these things where, all right, he's gonna hear talk for a while. He's gonna make his point. He's gonna make a series of substantiated claims. I'm not there's liberals do it too. And then he's got two flavors of callers he comes in. One person who agrees with him is going to praise him to all high heaven, and one person who disagrees. But it's not just someone who disagrees with him; it's someone who disagrees with him who is also a complete idiot. Because there are, for both sides of the fence, there are often very good counter arguments to be made to the points they're making, but they are presenting people who are the worst ones to try to give that argument.
But then again, here's the problem. It is strictly an opt-in system, and they're often like there's less than 10 lines for every one of these shows. I
Yeah.
think that Michael Medved says he's like got four lines total. So it's who gets through, and who the hell is willing to wait around for the chance to call in to argue with the host and tell them how much they hate him? It's gonna be the person with that much time on their hands.
I mean, imagine they all have like call operators and stuff. Like, all right, like
You can
what do you want to talk to Hannity about stuff? Oh, my opinion is this one. Like, your points are a bit too strong, so we're gonna pass on you.
Oh yeah.
You think you think the government's controlled by lizard people? Let's put you on here.
Yeah.
I think Sean has
I
some
know
things
a
to
lot.
say
I've
about
seen a
you.
lot of things, but I ain't never seen no lizard per people. I was a Navy SEAL.
Yeah, if you guys don't know what it's Jesse the Body Ventura, former wrestler. I think he's former governor of Arizona.
Minnesota.
Minnesota?
You have got to remember, he was also part of Team Rocket.
He also fought the
To
Predator.
fill a Pokemon stealing quota.
To run the state of Minnesota.
Jesse.
Ventura!
You know, whenever I hear Jesse Ventura was a governor, all I can think of is Hagar from Fatal Fury. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure Jesse Ventura has a ninja friend who he goes and single-handedly cleans up the streets of Minnesota.
Well, I'm
Mad
running
Gear
as a
Gang
libertarian,
is
so
attacking
we're going to
again.
discuss a viable
Cody's in jail, break him out.
decriminalization of prostitution.
Tim G points out a good thing. The thing with Hannity and Combs is that they wouldn't shut up and let other people get their point across. It got boring after a few minutes. I agree 100%. Like, you can see this from all things, but like all the more partisan the politics are getting, it's just people yelling their talking points as fast as they can at each other.
And
There's no debate actually happening.
oh yeah.
I will say this for anyone's politics. I don't care what it is. If you have a simple answer to a complex problem, you're probably fucking wrong. I don't care what side of the fence you're on.
And here's the thing that you're going to notice too about these shows, and Michael Medved has been at least very candid about it. They don't call you and say, oh, what's your opinion on this? They kind of know, people, okay, we know people who are on the left, we know people who are on the right, we know people, and they basically know that by their books. And if you ever notice on those shows, on all the talking head shows, does not matter, MSNBC, CNN, Headline News, everybody's got a book to sell. Every single expert has specifically a book to sell that they want you to buy. Half the hosts. Bill O'Reilly keeps on cranking out books every couple of years for you to buy as part of the as part of his show. He'll mention it every single intro, right? I haven't even seen his show in like 6 years, and I know this. But as Michael Medved put it, they ask you specifically, this is the issue. These are the two sides of the issue that we want to start from. How many minutes can you fill up defending this? And it's not even one that you might specifically agree with, because they're going to take the extreme. You're going to have two people who can stand up and throw and that's why it's only throwing talking points, because they're both playing to the extremes, even though the people themselves might not have an extreme opinion on that personally at all. It's just they want people who they know can come in as guests on the show and then say this and defend this point. It's like you're being hired for debate team. America's last line of defense against Canada. That would be us, Michigan, Detroit. They'll never be able to. The Maple Menace will never be able to ooze its way south of the border.
Hey, technically, Canada has a perfect win record against us. So.
Yeah.
This is fact.
Yeah, and they're so polite and stupid up there.
Sorry.
So you've never heard of this before, but Canada is the Goku to our Vegeta, because we kick all much more ass, but we're a lot angrier. And we fought once, and now we're friends.
I don't want to be Vegeta. I hate Vegeta. Oh my god.
It could be Nappa.
You know what? This is going back to we were at earlier today. We were at Meyer, and we were looking at there was a rack there with Ninja Turtle backpacks, and each rack has got a thing. Now the Donatello rack had plenty of Donatello backpacks. The Leonardo had a whole bunch of Leonardo backpacks still there. There was only one Michelangelo and one Raphael backpack left because all the other ones got sold out. And this is kind of how it goes back to the whole Wolverine. Like, people so much relate to the arrogant badass. And you want to use the word badass with quotation marks because I think people fail to see the common through line of these characters' story arcs of they're kind of dumbasses and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And usually the boring hero guy like Leonardo or Cyclops is usually 100% right and is spending the entire run of the show trying to get him to not be such a fucking tool. But, he's boring. He's not impressive and stuff. Let's look at Wolverine. Wolverine's superpower is getting his ass kicked by every single person in the Marvel Universe and not dying. That's
Including
his power.
Squirrel Girl.
Well, that's unfair. Squirrel Girl's the most powerful character in the Marvel Universe. You don't fucking cross Squirrel Girl.
Doesn't she have her own comic now coming out? I think she's got a very... They're drawing it like in a very cartoony, light style.
I hope not. Squirrel Girl only works if you never actually make a Squirrel Girl comic. She's been showing up more and more as a side character in Avengers comic books, but
let's see. But yeah, on the badass character, the Raphaels, the Michelangelos, Donatellos, and that's reminding me of something that I just when I was shopping during the Halloween season. Like the Claudine Wolfs from Monster High were just boom gone off the shelves. So she's probably one of the more popular characters, and that gets us to the Christmas season this way. Once again, of course, like they do every year, there's campaigns bitching about Barbie, and there's these politically correct toys coming out, like the Lamely doll, and that's like the most fucking really insulting toy for kids, because the Lamely doll is gonna make girls feel good about themselves because she's based on the proportions and everything of an average in quote average according to CDC standard health regulations and some 19-year-old, and really that the message that you're going to get because no girl's gonna ask for this damn thing. I mean, kids will play with just about anything, but no girl's going to go out of her way to say, I want the average girl doll with the pimples and the stretch marks and the glue stick-on tattoo, tramp stamps and shit. And but this is the thing that the highly politicized uncle or aunt of a child is going to get them. And meanwhile... people think that but everybody's competing. We've got to compete with Barbie. We've got to take down Barbie, and everybody forgets Mr. Smithers from The Simpsons is the #1 purchaser of Barbie. There's a ton of middle-aged and elderly people who are still collecting every single Barbie they can get compulsively and just amassing these huge collections of this cultural icon from their childhood. That's a good portion of how that line keeps going.
Well, collectors are stupid.
Meanwhile, what are the kids going to be asking for this holiday season? Girls going to be asking for this holiday season? They're going to want you to go down that horrible, misogynistic pink aisle. Actually, wait, it's the Monster High dolls, which are in black and chromey steel and purple, and with purple and pink highlights on the packaging. And they're going to want you to pick up Claudine Wolf. Well, why? Because, Barbie, she can dress up like all these different careers and has a pink car and whatever. Oh, Lamely, she's average.
Well,
Claudine Wolf is a werewolf. Draculara turns into a bat. You want to play with your imagination. You want to have fun when you play. You don't want to be political. So it's like, they're so obsessed with telling girls that average is acceptable that you're denying them the inspiration to be awesome, in my opinion.
Cody's making a very good point, which is actually something we were talking about several days ago. He said I'd rather have his children buy My Little Pony dolls. Remember we were talking about My Little Pony about a week ago?
Fuck yeah.
My Little Pony is a absolutely outstanding show. And and actually, I'm kind of sad to say that it's an outstanding show, because if you really sit there and watch it, I enjoy it. I've watched all of My Little Pony. I even watched the Questia Girls. Don't judge me. Okay, judge me a little bit. Whatever.
Hey, it's worth purchase price of the ticket just to hear Pinkie Pie make the Transformers noise.
And there's some funny jokes in there, and there's some really well developed characters in there and stuff. But all in all, it's not really in a complete vacuum. It's not really that great a show, I'd have to say. Now, one of the reasons why it is regarded as such a great show is because this is the standard that media targeted towards women is. The glory of My Little Pony is this is something for girls, which is traditionally the most bullshit drivel that you can come up with. And this show has the audacity to be decent to pretty good sometimes. Which is light years ahead of anything else that's going on.
Oh gosh, I've seen some of the rip-off version shows, just a couple of minutes worth of like the CGI German animated, like the rip-off brand Mini Ponies thing that is a bootleg, and it was on YouTube, and it was horrible. The writing was just, somebody stole the cupcakes, kind of.
And that's the shit that the original My Little Ponies used to do. So when people remember that little My Little Pony, and they look at My Little Pony as it is right now and stuff, like, holy shit, that joke was funny. It was legitimately funny.
Oh yeah,
I actually LOL'd.
Yeah, here's a pun, or here's a bunch of puns and jokes, or here's, a character doing something very silly, and honestly,
every time I want to get someone, like, it's not for everybody. I'll be the first one to admit that. And every time someone's like somewhat interested, there's one scene I will always go to. Like, look at the scene. If you can get through this scene and you enjoy it, maybe you should stick around with My Little Pony. If not, you should walk away. Have you seen it all at all, Ben?
I haven't seen all of season 4.
So it's the first season where Pinkie Pie thinks her friends have abandoned her and don't want to be her friends anymore, don't want to come to her parties.
Yes,
so
party.
she comes up with a party that she sets up with her she sets a party by herself with all the objects of her house. She has a bag of flour and a rock and a potted plant, and she's just going through this whole party, but she's also struggling with depression at the moment, and she has this complete psychotic break.
And if you can get to the point where she's Pinkamena Pie and you're not like laughing, and it's like, this is not entertaining you, then okay, the show you will never enjoy. But if you do, love that moment, and remember, so many people have done remixes of that where she's like doing the space want to go to space kind of thing with the personality chords, because that game came out at the same time.
The thing I love most about that scene is she does this Twitch thing, right? Where at first she's clearly doing the voices herself, and she's twitching, and she's like, every time she twitches, the colors in the background will change, and then she reaches this point where her eyes go big and stuff, and then the whole background is always that strange color, and then she keeps twitching, but every time she twitches you can see flashes of the real world peeking in through her madness. I'm like, this is the most glorious scene I've ever seen. But and Cody makes a really good point, and I want to stop right now and say, anyone who is not watching Legend of Korra, you are fucking wrong. You are wrong, and you need to watch it. Ben, did I not show you the recent episode?
Yeah, you were showing me some awesome fight scenes, and I still haven't had the time to even dive into that series.
Was that not the sickest animation you've seen on basic cable ever?
That is one of the best fight scenes I've seen in years. And remember,
that wasn't even one of the best ones.
They were able... Yeah, and it was one of the best fights, but it was still a great creative fight using powers. And remember when they did they tried to relaunch He-Man, and most of the early fights were just them twirling their weapons and then maybe kicking each other. There's none of that in Legend of Korra, and the thing is because, well, part of it's just, it was just, okay, Korra by that time people were like, okay, we can trust friggin' Avatar now. Because I remember as much as I liked some of the writing bits of the He-Man remake, the fight scenes, which should have been like a hallmark, were horrible. And that was because they literally could not have people shooting each other or actually hitting each other because they were on cartoon, because what they were trying to do for network. You know, it was that literal note of like all the things that Batman cannot get away with doing.
You know what? And a lot of the success of Batman the Animated Series, as much as sensitive is a problem, a lot of the creative stuff they were doing on that show is a direct response of they can't show certain
We
things.
give Joker a giant robot clown just so Batman can take it down with a chainsaw. You know, it's like
No, I mean, like they had this thing where they can't have. In the first season they had this mandate say this is a children's show, you can't have Batman punching people, and it's like, well, he's fucking Batman. That's like 99.5% of what he does is punching motherfuckers in the throat.
yeah.
So you had a lot of these scenes where you would notice that he would wind up and chase a guy off screen, and like you would see shadows appear on the wall behind him, and the shadow is beating the fuck out of this other shadow. And they go to the censors like, hey, do you see Batman punching anyone on the screen? No, you don't. Censor me, motherfucker.
Exactly. And it was so brilliant the way, and it was so stylized, the Art Deco and everything. But yeah, but other times just it's obvious when, oh no, we've got these notes from the network where we can't actually have people fight, or we're trying to sell this as a syndicated first. We don't know what channel we're going to go on, so we got to nerf everything going on.
That's actually, since we're talking about Legend of Korra a little bit, that was actually...
Look at live action TV. Way back when, one of the Power Ranger spin-offs, the Tir na Nog.
Yeah.
You've got guys with swords and maces and the weapons shoot. Like the guy with the ball and chain, the ball would like CGI thing of the ball would zap the guy. I'm like, just have them hit each other. And honestly, you could even make a better fight scene because you could just do a 3-3-3. You know, like you could actually have them sword fighting. But you can't actually have them sword fighting because a kid might pick up a stick and swing it at another kid.
Let's go back to we were talking about X-Men. You remember the X-Men cartoon show?
Oh yeah,
that was so amazing and stuff. Now, who all did Wolverine ever? Like Wolverine's got metal claws. Who did he stab in that show?
No one.
Fucking
ever.
nobody. He stabbed the Blob one time because it wouldn't work.
Yeah, Sentinels.
So
if you threw a robot at them, you could kill. Leonardo could attack. Leonardo could actually. He could never attack. Leonardo from Ninja Turtles could never stab a human being with his swords.
That's why there's so many robots.
He was so good, he could deflect lasers and actually cut through a tank's treads with a katana.
Well, that's why in Ninja Turtles they've always fighting robots because we could just fuck these robots up. No one cares.
Yeah, I mean, even in Robotech: The Shadow Chronicles, the new, like the 2007, it's not even new anymore. Expansion of the Robotech franchise, original expansion. They're going up against these cybernetic Haydenites. Why? Because robots, we can blow them away as much as we want, and we're not going to be held accountable. We can't even shoot bug aliens anymore.
The rule is you can do any kind of violence that you want to as long as you're hitting robots, aliens, or Nazis. Because in popular culture, Nazis are no longer considered human beings.
And I object to your robophobia.
Oh man!
You're talking about getting producers getting notes. I want to talk to you. I think it says before, but Legend of Korra. And here's a primer guide to anyone who hasn't seen this show yet. It starts off Avatar: The Last Airbender. Do not watch the live-action movie under any circumstances unless you are very drunk and want to get enraged.
And have professional help, professional assistance from Mike Nelson and Bill Corbett.
And want to see penis hair, but
yeah.
But it's 3 seasons, I think it's like 26 episodes each. It was back a while ago, so it didn't quite have the budget or animation budget. But the writing is rock solid the entire time. The most well-developed characters you ever seen, and even though it had a shoestring budget, it had very simple style animation. What they did with the animation they had was great, outstanding. And then they came up with a sequel series of Legend of Korra. And here's where things get wrong, because at first it was, they were going to do a miniseries, a couple episodes, like 4 or 5 episodes of Legend of Korra as this little side story and stuff. Then Nickelodeon says, no, we're going to give you a full season. So they started designing a show for a full 26 episode run. Then they're like, no, we're going to give you, because they upped animation quality. Like, we don't want to pay this much for something that's not SpongeBob. So you're going to get 12 episodes. So they had to take the script that they were plotting out for 12-ish episodes, or for 26 episodes, and cut it in half. So you see a lot of pacing issues in the first season where things are, slow and building up like a normal season of a TV show would, like getting some character development thing. And then you have like plot point shooting, like boom, 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 let's getting this resolved, probe ending, let's put it in there. Oh, we're championships. Okay, get that thing out of the way and shit. And then next thing you know, you're at your fucking conclusion. You don't know what's going on. Similar issue happened in the second season, because they even know they were going to get a second season. Similar dicking around. And season 2 of Legend of Korra is probably the worst one, because it had like almost all the problems contained in that one. But it more than made up for it in season 3. And even though I'm trying to, this is like, Avatar: Last Airbender is considered so great by so many people that Legend of Korra's greatest sin is not being as great as the show it's essentially the sequel of.
And on the subject of characters and whatever, but back to My Little Pony. When I was at Youmacon, I was talking with a person. We were talking about Youmacon, because she was, she's a brony, she's a Pegasister, I'm a brony and everything. And but one of the things one of the things that reason why it caught like it did, not just because it was a good show, in general, it was a good show for quality compared to most of what's being aimed at young girls, including like all those Tinkerbell DVDs or whatever, but there's also I know the penis hair from Avatar, but you compare. Why did it catch on with adult men? Because what is typical adult male viewing on television, or adult level television, and what are female characters like on every other police procedural? If they are actually something other than the hooker that gets murdered at the beginning. If there's some, but in a world of women who are Sex in the City, Girl, Lena Dunham, just so many other shows wrapped around supposedly adult women who are just she beasts, these that are supposed to be the rational ones who frickin' bring order to the house, because men are all big and stupid and dumb and everything. And the girls from the main 6 are caring, gentle, or caring, intelligent, honest, hardworking,
interesting characters.
young women.
They have legitimate interests. They have legitimate flaws.
But they're also strong, positive characters. And the thing is, there's not a lot of positive female characters in television at all.
Well,
the thing is the most negative characters on television that are women are often on shows that are aimed squarely at women. It's like all these shallow, horrible hipster a-holes.
I absolutely despised Lifetime, the television channel for women, because goddamn, it's like a nonstop marathon of rape and domestic abuse. This is a television station for women to remind you that you're a perpetual victim. You're either a victim survivor or a victim to be.
At least the gore channels, at least the people who want to air nothing but gory classic slasher movies and horror that will appeal to everybody. At least they called themselves FearNet. Okay, that should have been the Lifetime Channel's real name, FearNet. Ladies, this is why you live in fear.
And I tell you what, stuff like that is why I don't want to be too dismissive of any kind of social issue, whether it be feminism or rape culture or Gamergate or anything and stuff. I don't think the extremists of any side of these arguments, they're always in the wrong if you go too far out in any given direction. If you try to say the other side is their points are all null and void because of whatever reason you may have, well then you're not entirely right either and stuff. But because things like these, like, it reflects back on the men too. One of the reasons why feminism, I'm not talking about like this straight off, like, you know, man hating, lesbian, whatever the stereotype is now, kind of lesbian, but like, you know, there's some things that need to be worked out, and whether we see it or not, it's something that affects men a whole lot also, because if there's one view being pushed on women, then the natural opposite view is being pushed on us as men. And what many don't like see is because anything sounding like I don't want to say feminism, but anything like poor character traits, like weakness of character, of physical or mental strength, or anything like that, it is beaten out of us, like often quite literally, at a very early age and throughout our entire adolescence.
So what you're saying is the key is to beat our daughters?
Yes. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait,
that is the express view of Palladium Incorporated.
No,
I don't endorse that. But no, I would just say, like, we have a lot to work on both sides of this river to see what we're doing, because I remember there was a story, and please don't ask me to source this one. I'm horrible with sources. If you want to say I'm making it up, fine, be that way. But there was a person who was born with ambiguous genitalia. She was basically equal parts man and woman for all intents and purposes. And when they got to their mid-20s or so, they were like, okay, it's time to make a decision. Do I want to live the rest of my life as a woman, or do I live the rest of my man as a man? And her doctor recommended a psychological test where we're going to wait 2 years. We're going to spend 1 year as a woman and spend 1 year as a man and find out what you found preferable. And I think she said one of the reasons she ended up being a woman is because she found it was so much harder to be a man. She couldn't show even a second of weakness or hesitation, or other men would just be on her, you know, like animals, and just tearing each other down. And whether it's like, oh, I don't advocate, you know, violence towards women or anything like that and stuff, but anytime you feel bad, it's because if you ever feel upset or slightly miffed at the way a man is treating you, just remember that if we had the opportunity, we would be beating the shit out of each other at any kind of any given opportunity. And if you complain about it, we'd beat you harder because we're men and that's what we do.
And here I actually disagree with that, because I mean, with women, it is a slow, long game, continuous backstab. And
I'm not going to go that far.
There's this great gif where it's like two women can compliment each other and not mean it.
Mm.
And then the next picture is two guys will insult each other and never mean it.
That second part is true. I find in my life that the more I like someone, the more I am like absolutely mean and brutal to them.
But let's see Also, I like to point out that Cody Obert, Lauren Fuss jump-started FLPM, MLP, FIM, and having various writers and animators from some of the great cartoons of the 90s and early 2000s. Oh, yeah.
The animation in My Little Pony is outstanding. They brought the Foster's team in.
The amazing thing is how much of that was done with Flash, and really taught people like how versatile. Because if you remember, like what was the Mexican lucha thing that was on Fox for a while. Like early Flash cartoons were
I know
very stilted and very very poorly crafted, and they showed, oh man, this is what you can really get out of these simple animation programs.
Yeah, well, technology advances and our ability to use them advances. Like almost all of South Park is done in Flash, I believe, these days.
Yeah. What the heck else? But now I can't even remember what points I was thinking of arguing.
Mucha Lucha, that's it.
Yeah, that was the show. That one looked horrible, and it was like, yeah, this is the kind of thing that you. And I was half Mexican, was kind of offended by the whole thing of like, yeah, this is what you would throw at my community. The only time I felt offended was you. Oh yeah, this is what you're gonna try. And then again, who knows? It might have had for somebody there might have been that Speedy Gonzalez thing where. I don't know. They maybe the Hispanic community, by and large, uncontacted by me, does enjoy it.
Freaking Cody mentions that Flash is not just child's play. Tell that to Newgrounds. I'm gonna go to Newgrounds right now. Let's see what is going to be on their front page.
Oh boy.
Talk about a website that was popular in the turn of the century. It's kind of died down.
Oh yeah, I mean Homestar Runner. Those guys left to write. Didn't they write Yo Gabba Gabba or something?
What, Newgrounds?
No, the guys from Homestar Runner.
No, what are they
Or
working on? They're working on something, and actually because whatever show they were working on just ended.
They went back and
they're making shows now.
they went back to Homestar after many years. There's a lot of ums. We're sorry. Oh. Sorry about the ums.
Oh, this is gonna kill me. So, if someone knows in chat what the Homestar Runner people have been working on, the brothers chat, come on.
Damn.
Gravity Falls.
Oh, really? That's the one they're working on?
Yeah, they were doing Gravity Falls.
That's them. No wonder I love it.
And yeah, they were doing Yo Gabba Gabba, apparently.
Yeah, they were doing Yo Gabba Gabba, which was like almost people were thinking like, is this a parody of kids shows that we're showing kids now?
Sleepy Dave replies, Gravity Falls. Haha, you are not faster than the internet, Sleepy Dave. Perhaps you should wake up, drink a caffeinated beverage of some sort.
See, now we're sounding like a real podcast, man. When we release these 2 hours onto YouTube, man, I might get more than a view.
We have our 4 loyal viewers here.
Well, and that's the thing. I think maybe I'll get 50 or so, 30 or 50 things between the streams. And have you noticed that we're kind of just doing a light show because there's been some just right in front of us news like the furry event and the cosplay comment from Pat Babasbaum. But because otherwise I would be going into like some rage, some article that would fill me with rage. And usually you can just mine Elite Daily on that because the people from that website are so fucking stupid.
There are very few things that will make me rage on the internet because I'm of the firm opinion no matter how extreme, there is always two sides of the story. Always.
It's not that there are two sides of the story on Elite Daily. It's just that many of the opinion editorials are. It's not. There's another side to this. There is a ton of unfortunate implications from your statement of how awesome you think you are. It's like,
Sleepy Day is saying that the chat lagged. He said it before I said it. Well, where's your proof? I don't know. I believe you. And now he's giving me a electronic raspberry. Why, I never.
Why, sir, never before upon the internet has the discourse been so solid by such behavior.
He's jamming us, sir. What kind of jam? Raspberry.
Oh, boy. Yeah, I did post a article that I found interesting from Nero, aka Milo, at Nero, aka Milo Yiannopoulos from Breitbart on WLP boards, and that was kind of about the idea of men just giving up on women. And
that story.
yeah,
Here was I would say
that two-parter, very controversial two-parter. I'd say that he wrote, and actually goes to, sources just to show like the extreme opinions that kind of some men are now holding, going to some fairly extreme sites and people and bringing up some of the things that have been going on recently.
Was it Cody makes it? Something I said is only two sides. That's a fallacy. There are many stories. That is true. I would amend my statement. I would say there are at least two stories, two sides to a story. And I'm not saying just because there's two sides, I'm not saying both sides are equal. I would say know both sides of the story before you make a judgment. There are some stories like I was. Here's a question for everybody. At what point do you separate the personal life of an artist to the works that they create? Now, the common one that comes here is Orson Scott Card. Do you know the controversy about Orson Scott Card? At all, Ben? I'm losing you.
Orson Scott Card, yes, and he's, shall we say, straight-laced.
He is very anti-homosexual, and regardless of your own opinion of that one, the argument stands that he does not like the homosexual lifestyle, and it is well known that he takes the money that he makes from his admittedly very good, well, at least his most popular one, Ender's Game, is regarded as being a very good storyline. He takes the profits from that, and he takes it directly into funding a lot of homosexual propaganda and organizations and things to that nature, and helps fund the political thing. So many people are of the mind of, well, I'm not going to do anything associated with the Scott. I'm not going to buy, I've never read it, but as far as I know, there is no through line through Ender's Game or any of the other stuff speaking towards the anti-homosexual agenda. But people are like, nope, because if I buy this book, I am in one way or another endorsing his message to a degree. And more, there's some gray ground in there. You can have a debate back and forth on that one.
And then but then also there's the argument where the cult of the genius for decades, I mean, the artists that are putting out just the really amazing writing, literature, or poetry, before that it was poetry, or painting and stuff, often we're eccentric people with eccentric views and eccentric lifestyles. In fact, some artists kind of become this stuff themselves. But then again, if the creations themselves, I think that the creations themselves can take on a life of their own, can be separate from the creators. And because it's not just Orson Scott Card, and these are, of course, all right-wing examples that we're bringing up, aren't we? Because the other one will be
that one is, I think it's an interesting debate because there's regardless of your own opinions of homosexuality, I think there's a interesting debate of that level of disinvolvement there is with, here's someone's work, then here's one's personal lifestyle. And go back before there. A more extreme example of, if anyone's heard the band, the Lost Prophets, it's one of those punk bands that was popular a while ago. They've had some songs, I don't know if you know them directly, but if you heard it, you'd probably recognize what they did. The lead singer, I believe it was either earlier this year or last year, was indicted, and he was found guilty of multiple counts of raping babies. You did not mishear me. Grown man, at least 3 times, has been found guilty of having sexual relations with infant babies. These are children under the age of 1 or 2 years old. Still in diapers, babies. Sexual relations. No gray zone. He's been found guilty. It's all said and done. The mothers of the children have come forth and said, yes, I let my child be molested by this person.
And that's really gets to me, isn't the guy, isn't the isn't the likely coked out of his skull, I am omnipotent and can do anything because I am famous. It is the people that, the three women who went along. I have so little in me as the mother of my child, that I will just sacrifice it all up to this guy because I'm a fan.
Yeah.
It's,
As
you
one of those
know,
things, like, it's really hard. I like some of their songs. It's not my favorite band. I really like some of the things, and I can't really, in good conscience.
at least Michael Jackson had a cutoff point.
Oh, come on now.
There was a this must be this tall to ride at Neverland. You know there was.
Actually that's a good example. Michael Jackson. There's a lot of things, like, unlike the Lost Prophets case. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of accusations.
A lot of accusations.
A lot of conflicting information.
A lot of ambiguity and very little actual evidence. There was very little actual.
So, is there enough there to cause suspicion? Sure, and you should always be suspicious. Am I ready to condemn Michael Jackson for alleged acts?
Oh no.
No,
But
I am
and
not.
there's the thing is, but it did unfortunately throw this pall over the rest of his work too, where it was just very awkward. And then it was like the go-to line was, "Well, would you trust him with your kids?" And it's like, well, it doesn't matter what he was like sexually. He was a very out there person, star already. And why the heck would you have your kids hanging around with this guy who? And when every other musician out there is doing rails of coke before the show and shooting heroin into their eyeballs before they go to bed, and so you think he's going to be the most responsible person around anybody without the proper handlers either? So why would you send your kid over there?
I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, someone, like, you're like, they say, don't meet your heroes, because often the story following someone doesn't usually add up to the reality of someone. A lot of the accusations that were lobbied at Michael Jackson, I could easily have lobbied against myself, because I used to help take care of my friend's son. One of the things is, this is a grown man used to sleep in a bed with these small children. I'm like, I could tell you that I used to take care of my friend's son. And we'd spend the whole day playing and doing whatever, and like playing with like Legos or whatever and stuff, and running around and exhausted. And sometimes, like, there was a time where I was exhausted. I'm laying on the couch. He's laying right next to me. I think at one time he was laying on top of me, like right on my chest or something. We just took a nap.
You have a chest?
Yeah, I have a chest.
You're shaped like Totoro.
That's why the child wanted to sleep on top of me. I'm very
You're
squishy.
Guillermo del Totoro. There's no chest. It's just a sloshing belly. It is a barrel of fun.
And many women who I have been who can accuse me of inappropriate behavior, they will say it's very squishy and comfy to sleep on. So yeah,
He's just a big old teddy bear.
if someone could say, like, hey, that person was sleeping in the same facility as a child, well, then I must be guilty. All I can say is we were playing in this room, and we got tired, and we took a nap.
What's
And
up,
then
my
we
neighbor? God, that's so... but man, yeah, it's... But yeah, I can understand that. But I mean, even still, yeah, you are much better, Ben. Oh no, I'm a chunky guy. I know. I am red and pink all over. It's so weird. I have traumatized people with the sight of my shirtless self. Gato is calling me out, and he's got my number. This is the great thing. Fans will always put you in your place, I guess.
There's me and Ben like to do, because like I said, we are cousins. We are first cousins. Our sisters, our mothers are sisters. You can't get much closer than that. Well, we could be brothers. But like I said, I am half. You guys haven't seen me, but I'm half black and I'm half white. And Ben is a ginger Mexican, as I like to call him. We couldn't look any more different, but his sister kind of unflatteringly said, "Yeah, they look exactly the same." We're like, "How so? You guys are both chubby and are losing your hair prematurely." I
Oh,
was like,
thank you.
I'm like, "Well,
They,
you're not wrong."
You're not wrong, sis, but you ain't right. Oh, my sister. Number one reason why whenever a woman says, the first thing people will notice about me is my sarcastic sense of humor. Run.
Well, the funny thing is that apparently she just lost her job in D.C. because she was being a bitch. So
Oh God, I have no idea what.
I don't know the details.
And that's
I'm
the
hearing
thing.
things
I know
secondhand.
she didn't like some of her coworkers, but she had left a job for what she's thinking like was a dream job or whatever. I don't know why she wanted this one specifically when she already was working kind of a job that she was already working a job that she kind of liked. It was a little bit stressful. It was kind of like I think it was the job at the school where she's working with these kids and the little kids. So she's like she's still very young looking woman herself. So it's like everybody reacts to her more like she's their big sister or something.
And there's something I want to relate. I told you before, but what I tell the listeners that there's a very good example I like to point out with this family because me and Ben, we like anime and video games, going to conventions and all this stuff. We are very on the nose. We are nerdy. We are nerds. This is what we are. What you guys may not know is Ben's father, who is a former Army and Marine veteran. He is currently whatever he has the opportunity, he likes to do Civil War reenactments.
Oh, he's only got 5 more years of that left in him. He says only 5 more.
Oh,
years.
only 5 more. How old is he right now?
70 or
Jesus
something.
Christ, this guy
60,
is
65.
So he's got like his full, and he does these history reenactments, and this where we're at right now is just covered well with all these war books and everything. And
he's one of those gray-haired men that you see on the side of the road, going for just walking with a bag full of empty bottles, and that's not him being like crazy poor or something. That's just him being crazy against litter. So he'll go for his morning jog and stuff nowadays, and he just starts picking up all the bottles, all the scratched off lotto tickets and stuff too. He was just telling us like he started picking up some like $5 tickets recently, and they were just leaving such a pattern. He could have followed the guy home. It was just the guy must have been just scratching off. I'm a loser. Rip. He's scratching off. I'm still a loser. Rip. Still not a millionaire. Rip. It's like if you wanted to rob a poor person, that was the way to do it.
I believe your dad could hunt someone down too. But but the point I was making is, and you have your mother who is fairly normal, but she is completely 100% addicted to this online Facebook
game
where she clicks the button and she randomly gets mice and she goes and
mouse hunt.
And
My mother is a mouse hunt addict.
She goes to these small like internet conventions and she's got her online friends and whenever she's not working, she's hunting mice.
Whenever she's not working, she's hunting mice on Facebook. It's a Facebook game. Yes, my mother is a casual. My mother's the enemy.
No, your mother is just as bad. She's got her own vices and stuff. It's your sister, who's the quote-unquote normal one among all the rest of us weirdos. She's like I'm trying to get a normal career. Like she's trying to be a lawyer and stuff. And she's the normal girl of the monsters. We're all the monsters. And she's the teenage cheerleader daughter. It's like, she's the weirdo.
Oh, my sister has her own things too. It's like, because her Native Americanness, dubious, because she got herself remember, she's also not even she got herself adopted into another family, Trev. Yeah, that one. God, what tribe is she part of? But yeah, and she's still running up against that damn bar in Michigan.
How many times has she gone for it?
I think twice. Maybe she's still doing her 3rd time. Right. She's got a degree, just doesn't have the bar thing.
Yeah.
No idea what she'll become if she does get that thing. What she'll turn into then.
Kind of paralegal or something. I don't know. Well, the way she explained it to me is like it's not uncommon to have to go up against the bar like several times before you actually get past it. So it's not like
or just go into something else.
it's not like she's a huge failure or anything. I mean, it could be argued she's probably
You
the
could-
most successful of all of us. So
Well, until the credit card bills come due or
Yeah.
the student loans come due, that's when it's like, it's like we were, yeah. But I think that was also, but I think the school job was only like part-time thing. But it's kind of sad that she leaves this job for this other fuller-time job, which was one was like she was.
Cody's got some pizza.
Cody Upert, facepalm. I put leftover pizza on a plate, but I forgot to heat it up and brought it with me. So he just bit into a whole slice of cold.
That's how you do it. That's how a man eats his pizza, cold with beer.
Oh gosh.
At 11:40 at night, all alone on the internet.
MGTOW.
I was because I was doing I went to school for graphic design. We had to do you have to do a campaign as part of your final project, making a ad campaign for some kind of social cause, and I chose suicide awareness. And I was looking up the statistics. I went up to the CDC website. I was pulling down all these numbers and trends in suicide. I think it was the last 20 or 40 years or so, something like that. I believe it was 40 years. And they looked at everything and
Shocking, wasn't it?
it's kind of interesting because this is, and I don't want to. Let me be clear. I do not want to say I am supporting the men's right movements in any way, but part of the thing of like the argument of men don't have it easy as people say we do.
The whole check your privilege thing
Yeah.
that really needs to stop.
You look at the statistics for suicide over of trends for the last 40 years. People are always the first thing to say like, okay, the kids, you gotta watch out for the kids. Can't make the kid. And while that is very tragic, rates of teen suicide is relatively super low, and they remain consistently low, at least throughout America. In the elderly, it was very high a while ago, but it's been steadily decreasing recently. I guess it's as quality of life increases, it's just less shitty to be an old person this day and age. So they're having a decrease, and women, they're somewhere in the middle-ish. They don't really, they go up and down a little bit depending on the age and stuff. They stay relatively consistent. The women tend to have a lot of suicide attempts, not a lot of
They're not very good at it.
That is the express opinion of Chris Overstreet.
No, don't you dare. Women, they can't even.
But what
What are we gonna trust? What are we gonna start trusting women soldiers on the front line? They can't even kill themselves right.
But the biggest statistic
You have had something to
is
drink tonight.
adult males between the age of 25 and 45. This demographic has the suicide rate is. It started off the second highest next to older people, but it's been on as the elderly rates have dropped. This demographic has increased exponentially, and there's various factors of because whether for as much as we say this is a fair and equal society, or at least that's what we're trying to build up for it to be, we're not there yet, and there's very still much the adult male is the head of the household, and everything that happens is almost entirely on his shoulders. So when you find someone who's under that immense amount of pressure, they are more, especially more now the economy is going down, and it's just harder to get decent paying work here in America, and this, that, and everything else. They're just dropping like flies. The more the stress, the more responsibilities, the rates are going up and up and up and up and up.
Well, as much as he was saying again, he doesn't want to, throw his hat into the ring with the MRM and men's rights advocates, but that's one of the things they point out is 80% of suicides are men. 90% of the homeless sleeping rough are it's either are men. So it's like it's this holy shit, it's this thing out of, oh god, I don't want to bring it up, but the Wicker Man remake, the drone must die, you know, and this is kind of why there's this paranoia right nowadays, or guys just kind of checking out of the society and saying, you know what, I'm just gonna play my vidya, yo. I'm not gonna care about anything, because anytime I try to, I'm gonna get kicked in the shins for, you know, or higher for caring.
And Kato, I don't mean to bring up any bad memories. Trust me, I could tell you I have a bottle of antidepressants up stairs right now, and let's just say, I know how you're feeling, man. I know how you're feeling.
Yeah,
I don't want to drag things out too much.
Trevor's had a rough couple of years of recent.
There's a reason I'm living with Ben now.
Yeah,
it's not great.
Where you were, I mean, admittedly that was like college and your hometown, but it was like he grew up in Flint, so it's very hard to come out of that. It's very hard to come out of Flint unscathed. Let's just say that.
Well, I would say, like, people saying that there's a race issue in America. I don't like. And let me be clear, there is a race issue in America, but most of the stuff that you hear nowadays is less about race and more about social class.
Income.
Yes, income relations. Because this is something that, well, maybe chalk this up to my liberal education or whatever, but statistics are showing right now that it is very difficult to move out of the social income level that you were born into. If you're poor, you're probably going to end up poor. If you're middle class, unless the economy sinks from under your feet, you're probably going to end middle class. And if you're rich, it's actually, you know, it's kind of hard to do it, to stop being rich. Mostly because you have, even if you have like the shittiest family, or it's just the people in your immediate network just tend to be of a certain social class. So, and those are the people you fall on, and those are the kind of networks that you tend to create in life. So if you're poor and all you know is other poor people, you know, there's not a whole lot of networking opportunities to go and find better opportunities out there. And if you're
the Horatio Alger story of, you know,
it's something that really irks me and stuff, because I find people who I've grown up with who are suddenly poor, and people say, "Oh, people are poor because they're not working hard enough." The working poor right now are, by necessity, some of the hardest working individuals that I've ever seen. Because and I was working this just not too recently, having to work multiple jobs just to barely make ends meet. And some people are like, "Oh, you should have tried harder in school." I've got my high school diploma. I went through extreme methods to get my high school diploma, and I graduated on time. And so a lot of people I know didn't even graduate or got held back a bunch of years. I graduated on time, and then I had no means of putting myself through college, so I spent 5 years in the Navy to, you know,
GI Bill and
get a GI Bill and create an income there, and, you know, do good for my country. And I come back and I just recently got my associate's degree in graphic design, and I'm pretty good at it. I'm not as good an illustrator as Ben, not by a long shot, but I've been showing him some tips on these computers that I've learned over the years. So I'm educated. I don't have a criminal record. I'm a hard worker. I was promoted exponentially while I was in the Navy, and I come back and I'm working in a fucking mall. There's just not in my social sphere, you know, the ability to climb out of, you know, the caste that I was born into.
And it's in, you know, and it's in an area where it was a city that was built up around specific auto factories, which moved away in the 80s, and almost every attempt to try to get something back going in there, and this is the thing, is it's so hard to bring all these opportunities back into the middle of and that's the thing too, is Flint, I mean, is there what rivers are near there too?
Flint River.
There's the Flint.
There's nothing extreme, like there's no major shipping lanes. It's a major hub for the Amtrak. A lot of trains come in and out of there.
Okay.
But there's no industry, and let's just look at my profession. I'm a graphic designer by trade. There are very few opportunities for graphic design. They exist. They definitely exist there, but I don't have. It would take me several months to hunt these jobs down. I can't survive for several months. I don't have parents or anything to live off of, so I can hunt down these job opportunities, which I'm more than qualified for. As a matter of fact, as soon as I moved out of Flint,
You got that data entry job, right?
well, I got a data entry job, but in Flint there was an opening at the college I was working at that I totally could have qualified for.
Right. And
But it was just one of those weird opportunities, and I've been waiting around for a year for something like that to show up. And I've had people looking at it. One of the reasons why I came down here to Westland area is because it's the area around here. There's a higher demand for graphic design.
because it's Westland is one of the close-in suburbs of Detroit, and that's what I was like trying to think of, like what rivers there, because historically we tend to build up around our industry around rivers because we can just dump all the sludge into it. But I mean, no, I mean we could ship goods the cheapest way by boat, and that's there was an author that just kind of what's the name of the book, The Accidental Empire or something. And he was pointing out that there was a few reasons why America became so powerful, and one of them was we took over a continent that has more mileage of rivers than any other continent in the world. And that allowed for such easy trade between the states, and for us to, when we started making the locks and the different, like when we made the Erie Canal and everything, all of a sudden we were connecting our Midland to the oceans. So trade by water, which was so dominant for so long, still is dominant. I mean, I've been talking about for palladium for a while, and giving a few clues here and there in their trials and tribulations. But remember that all the stuff for Robotech RPG Tactics, which is finally, all shipping out, yay, and but they had to wait for the literal slow boat from China. Their stuff was loaded from China into basically those big semi truck containers, and shipped out overseas. And so we still do the majority of our shipping across the ocean.
Yeah, well, in Flint, it's well known that Flint, Michigan is the hub of the American auto industry, which was in the early 80s completely gutted out of there, and it's left that whole region completely barren. There is nothing but poverty and despair there. It is, and some people say, "Oh, you have to try harder and do this and stuff." And if I have to be 100% honest, yes, technically speaking, these high-paying positions do exist. They are few, they are far between, and most people can't support themselves trying to hunt them down. I did all this stuff. I specifically put myself through high school and college and military service specifically so I did not end up working a minimum wage job at the mall. And as soon as I get my college degree, the only thing I can find is working a minimum wage college at the mall. And I won't have anyone tell me that I didn't work hard because no one here knows me.
And also, it was one of the worst jobs for a depressed person anyways, because the most popular thing in there was T-shirts for funerals.
Yeah. I'm a graphic design person, and I ended up working at a mall in a T-shirt screen printing shop. And we did what most people don't, most shops don't do is this shop had a policy of we're going to have about a 20 to 30 minute turnaround for shirts.
Did I say that right?
Let's see. Sleepy Dave, he's testing. Can Dave hear us? I don't know.
It might have been because data packages.co input. Trying to post a link or something. I'm not sure. But
yeah, I spent between high school without parents and going to the Navy and then going through college, I spent about 10 to 15 years of my life trying to avoid the exact situation I ended up in. And then while I'm working there, because the guy couldn't, he was a small business owner, but it's Flint, so he's not making that much money, so he can't really afford to hire many employees. So it's something that you really should have about 5 or 6 employees. There are 2 to 3 of us at any given time. Then it was just 2 after the other guy rage quit because the job sucked. And I was essentially alone. I was just doing, the job of 2 people at any given time. And at a certain point, because I am a hard worker, I was essentially the general manager of the business. And I was making a lot of, decisions and running the majority of the store operations, still making minimum wage.
Yeah.
So next time someone tells me that hard work and determination is gonna the only factor that is required for your success in life, they can go suck a dick. It is not. I mean, I made the foolish mistake of trying to follow my dreams of becoming a graphic designer. I could have stayed in the Navy and had a successful military career. Hell, if I wanted to, I had the opportunity, because when I was in the Navy, I worked on a very specific computer system. I won't say what it is, but I could have went to California and worked for Spa War, because I'm one of the few people who are trained in this computer, and I could have did system development for the rest of my life on there, working in California. Nope, want to come home and draw pictures. There we go, and here I am now. So, and that gets me back to,
We both got to get back in shape.
There's a lot of, in the media, there's a lot of issues right now, and don't get me wrong, there are race issues in America. But the majority, what we're actually seeing for the most part, is systemic problems of class warfare that's going on.
I wouldn't even say specific. I mean, class warfare implies a deliberate effect. I think it's just so many people making short-sighted decisions.
Well, here's the thing. It's deliberate because it was at one point engineered to be that way. Many of the people who are actively involved in it and doing it, they're I'm sure your average citizen or whoever's involved in the incident doesn't have a strong feeling of hatred to it, but they're just everyone's just caught up in these predetermined battle lines that by forces that are ultimately out of our control.
That's the one I gotta work on next. Oh, Ben, I'm gonna. Oh, you were talking about silver buckshot. I don't really have much in common for it. I mean, now that I think about it, here we are on class warfare and everything, and Kato was an AT, and the plane was trained to fix the Navy hasn't used since the '90s. Oh, God.
Yeah. At which, Kato, I'm very surprised that you can't get a job on that, because people talk about the defense budget is out of the way, or completely crazy, and I know there are several airplane programs out right now that are being funded simply because they don't want to stop making them. We're going to lose jobs if we stop making these planes. You're not doing anything with these planes. You're making these planes and throw them in the scrapyard.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Because I should know my planes better, but whatever. I think it was the Raptor. There's a factory somewhere making Raptors.
Back to your uncomfortable discovering the suicide discussion. I'll point out that you're talking about the last 40 years, so it's literally since the implementation of the Great Society that we really started to see a skyrocket in men's suicide rates. And if you want to talk about class warfare, what about the idea of a governmental class committing a war, creating all these broken homes because you don't have to have a married family, a family in a traditional marriage, and a father who's staying and supporting the kids, because we'll just throw money at the people, and in fact, and then we'll round up everybody and put them into the inner city in these projects and shit. And I think that's what really helped.
Well, that's why like Ferguson will say is it's on both sides. It is and it is not a race issue. Now, do I think that the specific cops that are on the ground, that have boots on the ground right now, are racist? No. Are there people taking the side of the cops racist? Yeah. But the cops
when
themselves
the
know.
language gets so vitriolic
Well, what
against people.
Well, the common argument is,
Yeah, it's like
people are like, it's not a race issue because I'm not racist right now, and I haven't done anything racist to a black person, so it's not. Don't tell me it's a race issue, which is true. Many people today are very much of this opinion, and I will not take that away from them. The problem is keep in mind when I was talking earlier, and this is why I was discussing it, is it's very difficult to migrate from the social class that you started in. So what happened is you have like hundreds of years of, African Americans, having no rights and no property, too little property, and all they have is these ghettos. And you have the banks that were, what is it called? The red boxing, the red penning. Basically, banks would refuse to sell back in like the 50s and 60s. Would refuse to sell mortgages or allow black people to live in well-to-do areas. So they're just basically blocking them into these low-income areas, and now we're at present day. We're allegedly okay. We're all free. We're all equal now. So let's all just go out and we can all make a name for ourselves. Well, no, because it's really hard to leave the social caste you're in. So you have these generations of black people who are not being necessarily like discriminated against directly, but because they can't, and they have, they essentially, they have their own culture, which is really kind of counterculture to what the standard American norm is. So it's really hard for this non-intentional kind of racism, which is really, I think it's more class warfare than racism, because there's a lot. If someone's dressed up like a swag gangster or whatever, and they're white or Hispanic or whatever and stuff, it's basically the same thing. So
the white kid that shows up with 8 holes punched into his face and metal spikes hanging out of him will kind of get the same treatment as a young black man, a young black kid who looks the same way with as many pieces of metal in their face.
Not necessarily, because let's look at these people. There's two kind of white kid. Well, we're just using the everyman white kid. If we have one white kid who is in the ghetto, he's probably gonna dress more as a thug gangster because, that's what everyone in the environment that he's grown up with. That's the fashion. I am very much not a thug. I'm wearing an Anichi hoodie right now, which is thug gear right now, and it's just something I got just because I was around. It's not I just
closest store at hand.
I just ended up with this thing, and I just wear it all the time because it's fucking warm. Honestly, I treat it like shit. So
I didn't even notice because I never noticed brands.
Yeah, this is like thug gangster wear from the day. I'm just wearing it.
Larry Hullum?
No.
One of us. Should have mentioned his last name, but nobody will know him anyways. But one of the staffers for YomaCon, one of the regular attendees, but he was like complaining on one of his internet outlets a while back, right before YomaCon, about he gets accused of acting white because he's a nerd and a geek. And that's one of the things. Is like I'm still shocked that shit happens. It's.
As a black person, trust me, it's an issue.
And I think
I'll go one step further. As someone who is biracial, I am half white and half black. I can 100% guarantee you that I am accepted and rejected by both, depending on what's going on. If people like what I'm doing, oh, he's part of us. If they don't like what I'm doing, oh, he's part of them. Doesn't matter what the issue is.
I'm certain on it, but honestly, the idea of saying that being into geek culture, being into nerds, being the bronies, the animes, the video games is somehow a white thing, and that people might be asked or might be called acting white by friends or family would make a great panel at a convention. I think it would be. I'm not sure great, but very interesting.
It would be an interesting discussion if everyone could keep it even head. But unfortunately, it's one of those trigger things, and I'll have some opinions. I tend to take the middle road on a lot of things. I avoid trigger subjects just because once people have their dander up about something, facts Yeah, people say they want facts, they want reality. They don't really want. Once they have their opinion on something, they're either only listening to what they hear that confirm that, and rejecting anything they hear opposing to it. There's a small minority of people who are in the middle. That's how, like,
well, the way
the two-party system works.
The way I'd run it would be literally just for a kind of a discussion panel of people who have had to live with that specific experience, relating the bizarre views of what it is to be a geek, and therefore how they get an odd a treatment from friends and family for being into these, or how coming to a fandom convention might be a different experience from. I know this might be a standpoint theory or a big liberal thing. Anyways, that makes people think like, really, Ben, you're the
here's how I'm going to jump. How, like, liking video games and anime is essentially a quote unquote white hobby. This goes back to, it's not inherently racist. It goes back to more social class. The predominant people who are involved in the community, and I'm sure that there's all the poor outliers and stuff, but generally it's middle class white kids who are into these things, and it's just not something that's really in the culture if you grow up in Flint or so. Well, nowadays, as anime and video games got more popular, it has spread out more and stuff. But especially when I was growing up, and stuff, it was just like, it's not, you don't have a lot of whole black people and stuff, and the ones who do are the ones who are a little richer and stuff. Frankly, the only reason I'm into anime is because of you. Because
I know I'm to blame. I'm the one to blame for every bit of drop of misery in Trevor's life.
Here you guys go. I want to give you guys a story. So I'm a 7-year-old kid or so, going over to Christmas. I love going to Christmas with the family because family's got presents, and presents are awesome and stuff. And my cousin Ben here, at this point, I grew up in a white area because I was in a predominantly white trailer park, was where I grew up at. So I was like, I was poor, but I was white poor, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
And I just have like basic, like whatever the basic cable is for my entertainment stuff. So my cousin show.
I'll point out this at this point though. I'll point out one thing right now, is that until I got to college, I never had cable. So living in the trailer in Flint, and you think of like Roger and me and everything, he had cable before I did.
So I go to Christmas, and I got these these VHS. And as a kid, you're as a kid, you go pretty much tell like, oh, what is size, weight, this is a fucking movie. What did my lame ass relatives think? Whatever fucking bullshit movie I would be interested in today. I unplug it. It's like, what is this? Robotech. What is Robotech? Pop it in, Ben says. Okay, why not? Keep in mind my very limit of what animation possibly could, because all I have is second-rate Disney movies at this time. It's like, oh, these guys are talking, and when's ever going to start singing? I don't see any singing. Oh, they got some planes. That's kind of neat and stuff. Hey, wait, what is that plane doing? Is that plane transforming into a robot and shooting lasers? And I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
And a lifetime of crack would be cheaper.
And that is how I got freaking indoctrinated into the ways of anime, sitting side by side with Rick Hunter on Skull Squadron.
And here I was hoping that at least one of us would grow out of it. And nope, it's man babies to the left of me, man babies to the right of me. Man babies in front of me on my man boobies on the front of my chest.
Sleepy Dave's asked me a question. Since you're half black, half white, have you ever been placed white under ethnicity? Or have I ever placed white under ethnicity? It depends on my mood, honestly. If it's one of those if it's something that gives me multiple options, I will frequently click both white and black. Sometimes I've had the urge to put other, and when I say what is other, they're like, I'm mixed, I'm biracial. Sometimes I do that, but more times than not, I will put black. And this goes back to the freaking one drop rule. where my behavior sometimes excludes me from the black community because I quote unquote act white. And I have interests that are generally outside of the realm, and I get along very fine with white people, and a lot of people, and I have, and people, and it's kind of weird because people say this as a compliment to me all the time.
Oh,
They'll be
no.
like, you know what, you don't act black, or they'll say, I forget you're black. Like
That's-
people, I've had a girlfriend tell me like, I don't know any black people. I'm like, hello, your
God.
boyfriend here. It's like, oh yeah, my boyfriend's black, isn't he? Huh? And people mean this as a compliment. And when put to the gun, they'll be the first to admit, like, oh hey, I could go either way, right? It's like, no, you're not. I don't feel right saying that you're white. You can't. You're not. You're not white. No. There's a million different things I would categorize you as long as white is not one of them. You are not part of the master race, sir. And black people.
Then again, if the stereotypes ever change, there will be when people start to acknowledge that yes, African Americans, black people, or black people in any nation. We surely should use black because really we're talking about black Caribbean, black English, and whatnot, anywhere in fandoms, because fandom is international. But if the stereotypes ever get readjusted, the white one the stereotype of the white geek will get whiter even, and the stereotype of the black geek will still be, it's a geek, but somehow he's cooler. he's better looking and cool and less socially awkward and cooler than the white geek. That will end up being the stereotype.
Yeah, there was a saying, I was like, I am not cool, but I have just this. I come prepackaged with street cred for no particular virtues of myself as an individual. And I was explaining, I was talking to somebody, it's like, I don't really, this is going to get into the whole feminist thing where people, it's like, because I just recently was roommates with 2 white girls. And we were talking one time, and I was like, and they kind of explained to me, is like, it's hard for me to understand what it is to be a 90-pound white girl where a strong breeze can overpower me, let alone any other kind of male figure they happen to run across. And if just one of them just decides to snap and activate the rape trigger and stuff, they have almost no options and stuff. It's a mindset that almost I cannot empathize with, because I'm a 300-pound black individual. I'm fairly large, and most people don't even I can see it in their eyes, and I'm one of the nicest people you'll ever meet, but people are just automatically intimidated with me because large black man. I'm not even that black.
See, Dave, I'm told that most of the time I'm the whitest black person they ever met. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's there's a bizarre, because people came, and this isn't class. I don't think it's class. I don't think it's race. But there's this but there's part of it. But obviously, part of it is race and class of the stereotyping of what people expect a geek to be or a nerd to be.
Well,
and when you see the artists like Ronzo and Gnaw and Bonk and everything, and you're like, oh, these are black guys from all other parts of the country, from down south, from out east, from out west, and I've named these 3 guys because they're all very talented artists whose works I really enjoy. But I'm certain they must get a lot of bizarre things of people saying who first only encounter their work online, and then they'll say, "Oh, you're not white in person," or something. I'm guessing that must have happened at some point in their lives.
Yeah, there was something I was talking. There's apparently, I need to find this. There's a video of people in Korea or something, of a guy walking around in a mask or whatever. It's just saying like, I think he was walking around in an Iron Man mask, and he was wearing gloves or whatever and shit, and he was just coming up to people and being very friendly and everything. I don't think he was saying anything. And he was just heading to his friend with his flip cam, like recording these things. And what would happen is they would look away, and he would take off his Iron Man mask to realize he's a black person underneath, and watch the reaction of a split second of sheer terror of, oh my god, there's a black person right there. It's hard for you to understand. Wherever I go, especially like I'm frequently the only black person in predominantly white areas. Wherever I go, there's always a split second of people giving me a sidelong glance, or there's a split second of hesitation, and it's something you don't really notice, but it's something you experience your entire life. Of people are waiting for the nigger moment.
Oh God,
they are waiting for it, and you have to prove to them. And if you should watch, like, we should hang out in different social areas sometimes, because when I'm with nerds, I'm even like, this is probably my natural cadence right now and stuff. I'll be a little whiter when I'm with my white friends. When I go hang out with my dad's side of the family or hang out with a lot of black people, bet you, watch how I change the tone and how I carry myself, and just how I talk to people, man.
Mm-hmm. I think I do.
How I carry myself.
Well, here's an odd thing I get. I get people reacting to me in a very similar way too, though. I mean, a few years back, I went to Wired's Orchards when they were doing their haunt thing, and I'm just walking quietly, getting into line, and a girl turns around and screams. That was just me standing there in a t-shirt.
Well, to be fair, you standing in a t-shirt, it's very terrifying.
There's a bizarre, but that happens every other time I go to a well-packed, well-attended, haunted house theme. Why am I the scariest, creepy guy on the? Why? What, do I look like a serial killer at a distance or something? And when I get up close, or did I just appear out of nowhere like Jason Voorhees? I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not carrying a machete. I'm just a schlub standing there with glasses. You slap them off my face. I'm going down like Johnny Bravo. Okay.
And it's kind of weird, because here's the thing about racism in America. It goes two ways. There is, on one hand, people with like latent racism that try to pass the racism off. And to be fair, it's like, it's not necessarily coming from a place of hate. It's just coming from a place of, this is not white and I'm not comfortable with it. And then there's other people. It goes
both ways, racism. But it's not. This person isn't as close to a mirror image of me as I can get. Well, and that's because people tend to psychologically project, and also people tend to normalize from self.
Yeah. What people really are looking for, people of a similar mindset, of a similar, cultural heritage, of something similar to themselves. Look at President Obama. Regardless of how anyone individually feels about his policies, and I'm not saying anyone but there is a large amount of people who do not want him as president simply because he is a black man.
Chris Overstreet hates him as president, and he voted for him twice. That is such a...
That is, in fact, the opinion of Chris Overstreet.
The reason, and the thing is, he says, as Chris Overstreet will strictly expresses, he's no different from the Republicans. And he'll say this while linking nothing but The Verge and Vice and Huffington Post articles. Chris is much further to the left than me, so
agree or disagree with his policies. There is a lot of criticism that is levied toward President Obama that is almost it's connected to people grasping at straws trying to get the point across, but not actually say, I don't want a black person as president. I don't feel comfortable with this. And they're saying, oh, he's not from America. He's from Kenya. Where's his birth certificate?
Yeah,
the
birther
birther
bullshit.
people are probably the most racist people because they're looking for a technicality to get a black person out of office.
And
Maybe it's just they're just hardcore Republicans who just don't want to see a Democrat in public that hard too and stuff.
Well, it's even more bizarre than that because a lot of the core profiteers off the birther movement before 2008 were core profiteers off the truthers. So it's literally people that were saying like Bush is the enemy, but then as the control of the ball switches sides, and they just find something more that they can sell. They can shill to tinfoilers, basically. And if that's the thing is, you notice that on every birther website has a donation drive. Everybody's looking for money. Going back to it before, every time the talking heads appear on the news, they've always got a book to sell.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to go to something that's a little bit more closer, like more nerdy, so more appropriate for what we're doing.
Yeah.
The recent Star Wars trailer. Have you seen it yet?
Yeah, and
It's quiet, Tatooine, desert, everything. It's dark, mysterious. What's going on? Boom, black person.
And it's clickbaity.
Yeah.
In that you really just, it's a very sudden thing, and it's and admittedly the really thing that makes it more interesting and okay, he's got his helmet off, so it's a black guy, but he's also covered in sweat. He's looking kind of afraid or distressed or something. So it's like, what's going on? Is this a guy on the run? Actually at least gets people asking what's his story. Of course, we also get the joke those were the droids. Wait, those were the droids we were looking for. But also, you also have people thinking of like, why is there a black stormtrooper? Well,
The people keep saying like, have you found him? We ain't found shit.
God. I forgot about Spaceballs, but
it's the same kind of thing. People are saying, "Oh, well, he can't be there because there's no black stormtroopers because they're all clones and stuff."
And it's
now, if you're
wait
a hardcore
minute,
Star Wars fan,
30 friggin' years.
No, it's more than that. That was when Anakin Skywalker was a young adult.
Okay, well,
that's when
20.
the clones were born or created.
Okay, yeah.
And
so
I don't know if Kamino kept producing clones, but it's well known in Star Wars lore that they kept. They had to zone out the
original,
clones,
except for the 501st, which were Vader's specific legion, which were kept Mandalorian, pure to the Jango Fett strain or the line. All the others were basically clones of high-ranking officials or such throughout the Republic Volunteers or the Republic Fleet.
And then it's so you have that, especially given like it's like what 60, 80 years since the first batch of clones. But and a bigger thing is you just see a black person in stormtroop armor. No one said he's a stormtrooper.
And that's the thing too, is the helmets are slightly different. So those aren't stormtroopers. Those are possibly new Republic troopers or possibly Imperial holdout troopers, but they're not the stormtroopers of old. We know this just by the designs. That's something that we've had a couple of decades of change in the universe.
But just because he's wearing an armor, it doesn't necessarily mean he's necessarily a stormtrooper anyway. He could be someone who got a uniform and is currently on the run, as Luke and Han did when they first in the very first movie.
Honestly, that better not be the case.
I don't.
If he switches into the, and it's like, oh my God, JJ, you're gonna just remake the motherfucking first one, just like you did remake the first Stormtroopers movie with the first Star Trek movie, you son of a bitch!
But
then I'll be pissed. But wait, I know she's gonna fly that popsicle into the Grand Canyon, isn't she? Just like Kirk did. Remake, you son of a bitch. But you still don't have a good movie in you.
But what you see in the comment section is there's no. This is bullshit. No black stormtroopers. You can't have black stormtroopers.
And
you can't do it because there's like so many reasons. There's way more reasons for there to be a black person, having a black person in a stormtrooper armor for it to be no problem than there are a possible reason for there
for
not
this to be argued,
but that's the argument being put forward.
You know what? I honestly have no idea where these comments come from because it's a worldwide web.
Racist.
Well, no,
That's where they come
but I'm
from.
also going to say it's a worldwide web too. So, you know what? This could be the same. These comments might not all be coming from America. Can we at least say that maybe not all of them are?
Racism. Racism spreads farther than American shores, and also the perception of racism is also there. Look at Japan, who have classic problems with this because they are a almost 100% homogenous society. All Japanese people are Japanese. You have these small constructs of essentially Eskimos and
you have
Okinawans and these
the
Brazilians.
small groups that are I was going to say you have the
That's
the
like,
Ainu.
yeah.
Which are the kind of the Eskimos.
Up in Hokkaido.
They were from Russia originally, and they're up in the north, far north.
The Okinawans, who are basically the Hawaiians in the south.
And they worship the old gods. And then when the...
And there's these Brazilians,
after
too.
the Doom of Eldons and the Animorch brought the 7 gods in, and the Dragon Lords... Oh, I'm sorry, I'm thinking Game of Thrones.
But my point is, that's like, for all it's like less than
Kato pointed out the back of the armor is different as well. Yeah, so the helmets and back of the armor, this is a different armor. We don't know that it's even Stormtrooper armor.
But what we have is like that's like less than 2% of the population of Japan. For the most part, like there's people who are Japanese and there's people who are not Japanese. So when a Japanese person comes out, and they've been doing this a lot in the last forever, is they look at you white man and you black man and you look different from that one, and it's not coming from a place of hate. Yeah. So while it is racially in the racial category, I think being racist and racism is too broad of a term. Like you can identify that there are people who have different looks and cultural characteristics without necessarily marginalizing each other. Like just up, I have black hair, you have orange hair for reasons that are beyond my comprehension.
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out how that recessive allele came through Mexico.
It's like you were an anime fan in the womb. You're like, can I come out with neon blue hair? No, what you have?
That's a little too off there.
But what's some of the things they had?
We're just gonna give you an Asuka mop.
They had the in Resident Evil 5 that was coming out. They had Chris Redfield he's in a new adventure hunting down the Umbrella Corporation in the jungles of Africa. Well, Africa's full of black people. Generally speaking, well, I'll take that back. If you know anything about Africa, it really depends on the region you go to.
Oh yeah,
especially in South Africa. Don't even I think there's more white people in South Africa than there are black people. Don't quote me on that one. But anyway, you have Chris Redfield, white man, hunting down in these poor regions of Africa, and so you have all these trailers of a white man shooting all these savage black people, and there was a huge shitstorm by the internet, and the Japanese are like, what? What's the problem? Our hero is shooting zombies. This is culture. This is accurate. Chris Redfield, he's a white man from America, goes to a place with a lot of black people. They're all zombies, so he shoots them. Like, you can't have a white man shooting a bunch of black people. Why? Why are you making something more of this than it is?
And also we can go, okay, and the thing is also we can also say, well, no, we're basing it off of these old classic pulp adventure novels like King Solomon's Demise, but those books were also a white guy going from England to shoot a bunch of Wait, no, this still wasn't.
The problem with the English ones, those ones did have racial superiority overtones. Japan tends Japan comes from that. From I think the mindset that most nations have that their own independent nation is probably superior than all the other ones.
Yeah.
But they're not really coming from a place where like a white superiority or anything like that.
But we can also point out. But actually, I was going to say Robert E. Howard is a Texan who never actually left Texas and wrote a bunch of books set in Africa and stuff. And he's a great author. He's got this style that is so moody and. I mean, that's why he's one of the known as the greats of pulp adventure literature. He created Conan and all these other classic Cole and and Solomon Kane and all these other classic characters, but my goodness, he very much was a product of the time, and even the thing is there, yeah, well, if he's not, it doesn't matter the skin color in the Resident Evil game, because okay, it's a big parasite that has killed a person and is now animating this host body, right? That was the one with the head that split open.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the Japanese are saying, well, no, it just happens to be in this, taking place in Africa because
they just want a new location. Honestly.
We don't want to do the American Midwest anymore.
The reason it's in Africa, originally planned for being in Africa, is they wanted to have a system in place of it. Was originally going to be a solo game, and they wanted the environment to be a large factor of it because him being in the hot African sun where there's no shelter was going to drain on his stamina, and they wanted to have a system in place where he was going to run from cover to cover, where he was trying to deal with. The sun was just as much of an enemy, and being in a wide open area, which is just as bad as the zombie. He would prefer to be in the claustrophobic areas, even though there's like close range combat zombie areas, because he didn't want to fucking get heat stroke out in the goddamn African sun. That's the primary reason the game is set in Africa. But since that trailer came in, all the controversy, and I don't have the game designer files in front of me, but it's theoretically after that, it's like, oh, we're gonna add Sheva as a character, and now it's a co-op thing, and like there's only half of the population is black, and they put a lot more white and some other various ethnicity African populations.
Everybody now is getting along, but until the parasites invade their skulls and split their heads open, and they try to kill. But doesn't make anything better, really.
But here's the thing: this is furthering my point of why Japan is coming from a point of if anything, they're trying to celebrate differences, and they don't see where they're coming from racially, because they added these new things to appease to people. Look, we're going to do the whole thing, and they had this one. Halfway through the game, you go through a level where you're going through more of the tribal people that live on the swamps in Africa. So now you have these ones are all black, and now they're in the straight up like nose or bone through the nose, spear chucking headdress Africans, and now you have these people shooting them.
And it's like, well, no, because we saw all these nature specials and National Geographic movies or whatever. But they sell all these documentaries. The people are like, oh yeah, these are really neat people. They're very different and interesting. So let's have the game set in there.
And one of Sheva's alternate costumes is having her in a tribal bikini where she shoots a bow and arrow as her primary weapon, and she's got this tribal war paint all over her. And she's got like the necklace of
and the thing is also the reason why that outfit shows up so much more often in her.
That is hotter.
Yeah.
So you're being racist and you're objectifying women.
Hell
you
yeah!
Can't win, Capcom.
It's fantastic. There's just a.
Did you see the
I have to share that.
What are you looking at?
To the freaking just random click to my Facebook stream. I might have to share that to the Peter the Wolf board Facebook. I don't know. Just Mark Gunn. Mark Gunn rubbing his wife's feet, I think, with his daughter or something. But just the track that Peter the Wolf has been of recent surrounding Sarah's Tootsies.
Are you familiar with the Sony PSP European ads?
No.
About that one? Okay, I think it was a specific country. I can't remember what. Somewhere in Europe. I want to say it was Norway or something like that. Don't quote me on that one. But anyway, you remember when the PSP translated from the original bulkier design to a much smoother design, right? The PSP Slim, they called it.
Yeah.
So the original, it was larger. It was all black. That shiny black. And okay, we get the new one, and we're gonna do some colors. So the default color for the new PSP was white. And in these European countries, okay, these Europeans are more open-minded, so we could do whatever. Whatever thing is, the advertisement was let me see if I can pull it up.
It was Santa's Little Helper all over again, wasn't it? It was. Oh gosh, Admittedly, yeah, Europe is also the country where you have big mall, middle of the mall displays of a log pooping presence. You know,
Here is the advertisement where you have a skinny white woman dominantly holding a large black woman saying PlayStation Portable, white is coming. And you have this black woman being completely dominated by this aggressive white woman who's done up to the nines to look like the hotter
dominatrix kind of look. Oh boy.
Again,
This was Sony's idea. This is a company with no matter what they achieve technologically, they have no idea how to market their IPs. But then again, well, honestly, I think nowadays we're in an era because of clickbait and viral marketing. It is almost, we'll do anything to get the damn name out there.
Thanks, Cody.
Kato, there's
my,
a group of
my
Caucasian
quote is now, don't quote me on that.
Don't quote me on that one, Trevor. I want to say a bunch of stuff. I don't want you to quote me on it because Trevor's going to admit going in that he might have misheard everything that he's about to say.
I will never 100% back up anything that I say because I was just explaining to him, my memory is shit.
Well, no, it's the Snopes. No, it's not that your memory is crap. It's that it's the Snopes deluge. It's like I can't even count the number of times in a week that I'll look at other people's Facebook streams and say, Snopes debunked this. Snopes debunked. But the most recent one is part of Ferguson, of that kid that got killed, just happened to be killed. And honestly, if you're going to murder somebody who might be gang affiliated or family affiliated, some other group you wanted to kill, oh my gosh, yeah, during the breakout of a riot would be the perfect time to kill a human being.
Yeah.
Very much but now there's this rumor going out that he was either going to be witness. I've seen versions where he was supposed to be a witness to the grand jury for the police, or that he was a witness to the grand jury for the police and he was killed afterwards, or he was going to be a witness to the jury for grand jury for Michael Brown and he was killed by the cops to silence him. Either way, this young man died. People are trying to say that he was, called up before the grand jury, who was going to be a witness or something, and of course that's not the case. And all the facts that all the news articles and stuff that point out the facts just get swamped under the people who have an emotional reaction to this one image with text that's getting circulated around. And the misinformation keeps spreading.
That is the problem with Ferguson, and I always say
that's the problem with Facebook.
We've been talking a lot about, like, I have the policy. Don't talk about, they always say don't talk about politics or religion if you want to keep friends and stuff. I've always,
and we got political. We started off political in fandom and
I always
went
try to be pretty
in.
middle of the road and stuff. But anywho. Politics cast.
This
2014.
It's just such a.
There's a lot of political things going on right now.
And my reaction to the whole thing has been I'll vote for the first politician who vows to get these dangerous, unpredictable police off our streets. We've swollen up our budgets. Well, here's the thing. I don't like it because we live the whole thing, and this is where not feminism but gynocentrism comes into play, where the MRAs talk gynocentrism. The reason why there's cops all over the place shooting people nowadays is because women are the majority voter, right? How often are women sold on a fear narrative to get the vote out, right? How many times every time you have a DA that says I'm tough on, and they'll always list, sex criminals and rapists and everything because they're going to scare women into voting for them, and then of course they got to justify their job to say, well, our cops are getting better, we're getting more cops on the and we're gonna put more cops on the street so you'll be safe, and most guys even though men are the majority victims of violent crime,
Hmm.
most of us, like you and me, big burly guys, don't really react to an idea of I'm not scared walking down the street. I'm pretty fine every day when I go. I say wave hi to the guys over there and everything's fine. But your 90-pound roommates.
Yeah, we were just talking earlier how you were so talking. You're hanging out on, like the Yomacan message boards. You hear these people like, "Oh, I want to go, but Detroit's dangerous." And blah,
Oh yeah,
blah, blah,
and it's a bunch of guys trying to tell, and it's specifically myself with the last name Rodriguez and several black men on Facebook and who are Yomacan attendees. And I made friends with them through Facebook. A friend of them on Facebook, and I met them at Facebook and stuff. And they're really cool people. Briefly, because they were in cosplays and stuff. But they're trying to tell these little 90-pound roommates of yours that no, you're going to be fine. Detroit, it's this fortress. It's the Renaissance Center and Cobo Hall, and there's security everywhere. We've got this great security team. You're going to be okay, and they refuse to believe it.
Yeah, and you know what? It's not an unfounded fear, because one thing. Our friend Tony was just saying that he had some VIPs
That's some
coming
private
in.
Yomacan stuff.
Okay.
Yeah. That's one of the things is like that might be NDA, unfortunately.
Okay, but yeah, it's you know what,
all the problems that can go wrong when you make a small city. And if you ever wanted to see Tony Wendell going off on his trials and tribulations, where is that damn shirt? He does a blog that is I can't remember the name of it, but it's we started off with a panel called "Are You the Cancer Killing Your Fandom?" where we just started talking about the bad fan behavior that just tends to make everything there it is, Skull Pistons, everything much more difficult, including like destroying hotel property and whatnot, and what the real hiccups of running conventions and being part of fandom are.
It goes like fandoms are practically social spheres anyway.
Yeah, and
especially the way the issues of all fandoms are coming right now and stuff. You got the gamer gators, you have the men's writers, and you have the furry persecution. And it's very these are very political things that's going on right now.
But it's oddly enough where a lot of our pre-existing social stuff does to a degree get dropped, because so much of it is about instead a mutual interest in some artistic and in artistic ventures, which is an odd thing, which is why fandom can be so nice at times as long as we don't try to deliberately politicize it.
Deliberately politicize, I don't know about that, only because like I'm not saying I agree with various things. What I will say is I'm not ready to 100% dismiss certain claims just because it's not the reality that I see as existing and stuff. There are issues. Like I said, feminism. I tend to be on the side of feminism. I disagree when you get to extreme feminism. I agree with the core of many of the things that Anita Sarkeesian will make and stuff. I'll just really will admit, like, hey, she says a lot of things that are not accurate, and she should be called out for that one. But I don't think that the crux of her argument, a lot of cases, should be thrown out. She is trying to highlight that there are issues that need to be discussed. Look at her. Like, I'll support what she says. Bayonetta 2, her opinions on that one, I think, at least for myself, completely unfounded. She does not understand what's going on with that game, because Bayonetta she's a perfect example of a sexual character who is owning the fuck out of her own sexuality and stuff. And I think
right from the first designs, she's a clear dominatrix men get on your knees archetype. And of course, yes, that would be the kind of woman that is designed by
a 90-pound little Asian woman is going to design something like this. Why? Because it's a power trip too.
Yeah.
And that's also comes into costuming, why many women like this. Women who are going to cosplay often like the women who are often into cosplay use costuming of any kind, really, to come out of their shells more.
Mm-hmm.
A girl would never would be most girls would be mortified if you saw her butt
Yeah.
in public, unless she is dressed specifically as Cammy White from Street Fighter series, which the whole point of the outfit is to show off is for a woman to show off her rump, and of course, and there's a certain amount of pride that all of a sudden that a girl will take in that. This because when she slips into that character, there's a marked aggression and a more outgoing nature to them. It's the what Oscar Wilde said. You know, a man is least himself when he's in public. You give a man a mask, he'll show you his true face, kind of thing. I can't remember the specific quote, but that's kind of thing, and that's why there's an appeal to a lot of these fan servicey characters.
Fan service is a problem, and I can't think of because like Cheesecake is so embedded into anime. I'm gonna go to American Comics, DC. The character, the Spoiler. Are you familiar with her?
That was Barbara Gordon,
No.
right? No.
She was one of the Robins.
You're right. Okay, she was the one that was a girl Robin and got killed and came back, right?
Yes.
Or something. Okay.
And I'm specifically talking about because here's one of the big things that is highlighted in there is the way she was killed, because she was sure you know about Women in the Refrigerator, the whole thing about that one.
She was killed by Hush, right?
I believe it was Black Mask.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, there's
Or
a big
was
problem.
it-
Like one, for one, it's, and this is a point that I tend not to agree with. But some people had a problem with. She essentially died to give the male characters in her life more, drive. She died for the burning righteous vigor of the to increase character depth of the male character. But more specifically is,
I specifically doubt that. I'd honestly, because I think it's also the Jason Todd thing. I think almost any Robin that isn't Dick Grayson will get killed off because they're specifically not Dick Grayson.
That's why I disagree with it, because it's not necessarily we have to murder these women. It's if you want a character to be a great way to be on the same wavelength is to kill off a character, male or female, that both you and the character sympathize with and stuff. Yes, a character, a tragic loss of a loved one is, great fuel for heroic rage, whatever.
Yeah.
Stuff. It's just more, it is definitely disproportionately women than men, and some women have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that myself, because I think, it's because we care about women more. Kill my sidekicks all day, but kill my women partner, I'm going to be super pissed about that.
Well, yeah, and that's a thing of how many fairy tale story kid movies center on men? How many horror movies, which are very much similar to fairy tales, center on men? Very few, very seldom. Almost because you put a girl in the haunted woods, a scary situation in either version, guys, natural male empathy will be, our hearts are pounding, how is she going to get out of this? Yeah. I'm a guy, I'm a big old you and me are big old burly guys. We can, hey, there's a guy with a face mask and a machete. How you doing? And he just, how you doing, right back? We know we're going to be fine. But how's she going to handle this? She's weaker than Jason Voorhees. She's in this woods alone, and she doesn't have the training she's not a woodsman. She doesn't know how to survive. Snow White doesn't know how to survive going through the woods and shit.
Well, hold that thought, because I want to touch back on that one. I actually talked about agency and stuff like that. But more specifically, when the Spoiler died, not only did she die for basically as a bolstering mechanism for another male character, but and you brought up Jason Todd. Jason Todd was killed in a horrible way, had a crowbar, showed him beating the bejeebus out of him, and then he got exploded in a warehouse. It was clearly depicted this is a horrible act that's happening. When Spoiler was killed,
somehow came back from that.
comic books.
That's
DC comic books, for that matter. Don't even get me fucking started.
and this is why I don't read.
But
This is why I read manga over DC and Marvel.
But when the Spoiler was killed, she, like, the camera that, well, the artist, but basically the cameraman, every time she was whacked with something, it showed her going, ah, and like her breasts are being thrown out and stuff, and she's like, whenever she's like kneeling down because she's in too much pain, her ass was being thrust in the air and stuff, and they're actively sexualizing her as she's being brutalized to death. Things like that is a problem.
But the thing, and I don't know the art, and I don't know the particular artist's intent or what they've had to say about it since then, but sexualizing violence against a woman can make it more disturbing deliberately for the audience. I mean, hence I spit on the lasting effect of I Spit on Your Grave. That exploitation from the 70s, not the remake. I haven't seen the remake. I don't watch most of the remakes of these horror movies, but things like Last House on the Left and we're deliberately also sexualizing the violence of women for the fear, and this was part of it, was just to make the audience, male and female, squirm horribly in their seat and be uncomfortable with the whole thing, to make it more disturbing and more uncomfortable a moment.
There's some people, there's a mentality that rape should never be discussed or depicted or blah blah blah. I don't think anything should be.
Cody Opert, I've seen the Cinema Snobs review of I Spit on Your Grave. Yeesh. Yeah. It's a very hard to watch through movie, and it's more, and okay, you know what, honestly, it's a movie that you should see, and if you aren't very off put by this whole thing, and if you aren't disturbed by it, then that's probably a problem. It's a movie that is literally just deliberately out to mess with, just wreck you for the night.
Yeah, when you're trying to depict horror, and like rape is one of the most horrible things you can do. Why is I can show that I can bash a guy's head in with a crowbar, but I can't show like, oh, someone got bad touched. Like, I'm trying to just depict a horrible thing.
One of the hardest.
But check out this image right here.
Oh yeah.
For what's going on, how appropriate do you think this image is? For everyone listening at home, I've Googled Stephanie Brown death on Google image search, and you can flip through some of the images that are going on through here.
It's creepy as hell, and oddly enough, and the thing is that's why I can say it's like it looks like it's a really chilling scene, but it also there's an added value of squirm, like the cinema stop would squirm in your chair kind of thing, creepiness added to it.
I get what you're saying, but like
that probably isn't. So this also sets
this character, but
then again, also I can see where this is also about making the villain as bad as possible, and also just setting him apart somehow from the Joker, as every villain in Batman seems to have to compete with the Joker, who just did a brutal beatdown.
Well, here's the line as I'm seeing it. Like, this character is not actively sexually assaulting her at all.
Yeah.
This character is someone who, at least for the character and for what the scene is doing, he's just assaulting and beating her to death, but she's just happening to be sprawled out in these evocative poses as she's being torture porn to death. Something like this. And it's like, we'll stick on the subject of Batman. Look at
actually, it's 1 a.m., dude.
Yeah,
it's 1 a.m., man.
We should get the chit chat going. Have you read?
Well, I'm saying this is a 3-hour podcast so far. It's like this is probably a time to cut it off sharp.
No, fuck it. Just record the whole thing and then chop it up a bit.
Okay, you want to help me? It's only going to download it like 288. But okay, yeah. If you want to help me figure out the video editing software, criminy.
No, and I'm always of the opinion that you don't edit podcasts. You just let the madness go. But we're going to compare it to the Killing Joke of
when the Joker
Yep, shot
shoots Barbara Gordon.
Barbara Gordon.
And puts her in a wheelchair, making her, not spoiler, making her Oracle.
Yeah,
Right?
but specifically in this one, the storyline has. It doesn't just end up. Like, if you want to talk about sexual violence that's meant to be. We're depicting sexual violence, but it's the sexualization that's supposed to be horrible. He then, after he shot her and she's on the ground naked, like wounded, he strips her naked and takes a bunch of photos of her to show Jim Gordon. He's got these like all over the thing. This is using sexual negativity to reinforce the point of horribleness, because nothing like this is like clearly something.
This is deliberately to drive Jim Gordon insane.
Well, not only that, but this is something that's clearly sexually horrible that's going on. But nothing in this like being shown is being depicted in anything as evocative as in the case of Stephanie Brown, she's just being. I think she was getting she's getting fucking tortured to death and shit. And she's just being like, oh no. This one, you can see the pain and the shame and the horribleness of the situation going on. That's being depicted here. So there's a line.
I think but we're also dealing with two different artists. Two different artists. Well, actually, geez, at this point it would be what 2 different pencilers, 2 different inkers, 2 different
eras
and authors,
honestly.
and
this is like
years apart stuff, and different writers, and
there is absolutely room for an argument and a discussion to be had there. I'm just saying, let's not disrupt it. Let's not get rid of the whole discussion and stuff. Because there is definitely a line and a problem to be addressed here. But going we're talking about Bayonetta 2,
killing off.
That's a character who not only is super high, she's hyper sexual. That is an important part of her character trait. And I think it was Movie Bob made the point of she's hypersexual, and you know what? You're fucking not ready for her. You can't handle it at all. But you had mentioned.
Well, we can't handle most of Japan's sexuality. It's hard to deal with a night of Nabashin.
It was an interesting point you brought up with the horror, how it's the role of the female character.
Well, because in horror and in fairy tale, but any scary moment, this is why, and I'm always big into horror and scary things. Guys have already listened to me extol the virtues of going to haunted attractions and stuff. I did a panel at the beginning of the year on things titled "Things That Go Above the Night," where we're talking about horror, but. There are specific moments of adrenaline release. Now, like I was saying, how man's natural empathy towards women, because they are in general smaller, and often in general physically weaker. There's a natural kind of empathy that we will get scared for somebody else, but also the female viewer gets to vicariously live through the experience of the heroine of a horror movie and have those adrenal highs with all those scares in a safer, controlled environment. That's why you have a lot of women who love to go to the haunted attractions and stuff. It is that it's moments of shock and terror that are in a controlled environment, as opposed to the real scares of real life. And so it's kind of a safety. There's also a and your brain, once you start going in with it, your brain rewards you at various points. You get the first burst of adrenaline. There's then endorphins and stuff, and other chemicals will kick in. And also that goes through all forms of horror entertainment, or entertainment with moments of terror or the weird in them, because you don't have to just be watching a movie or playing a video game with disturbing moments or anything. There's tons of there's horror literature. A good short story will be enough to draw that out of a reader. Why are so many horror movies, or why are so many horror short stories so often written in something you can rarely do in movies, cinema, but of the first-person perspective? At least no haunted attractions got destroyed this year, Ben. Kato, even though my dreams would make Freddy Krueger puke from the gore. Oh my gosh, yeah. Kato, Frankenstein, talking about Frankenstein with Karloff, yeah. Preferring the old horror films. Yeah, I can understand that.
But you're talking about like I guess big talk about a characterization, and there's been this thing like it's hard. There's a through line through feminism talking about protagonists in women. It's really hard to be what's the word I'm looking for? Even the most heroic female characters are kind of hard to say that they're positive female characters because they're not using their feminine attributes as a thing. They're essentially
The
taking
women with
male
boobs thing.
They're making masculine traits and using them heroically, because it's still like the feminism being gentler and softer.
Well,
an interesting point of this conversation,
but
is,
it's also like, it's also, how do you move that storytelling football down the field? Really, it's like what skills does the character need, or what does the character need to do to get from plot point A to cash in plot coupon B?
someone did it.
And you have quite a few people that do it.
No, the Silent Hill movie. Do you remember the original one?
Yes, the first Silent Hill movie.
I don't remember if you were if you know how familiar you are with the Silent Hill video games, but the games star character Harry Mason.
Yeah,
He is a father who is in this horrible town, and spends the whole time he's looking for his daughter. And all his character motivations is he has to find his child, he has to protect his child. Everything he's doing is to find his child. So I can't remember his name. Don't quote me on this. But the French director, he's looking over the thing, and he's a huge fan of the thing. But he's looking at Harry Mason as a character, and he casts a woman in the main role. And people are like, why are you doing it? Like, look at the characterization of Harry Mason. He's a woman. He is even though he's a man, he's acting with all the essential traits of a woman and of a mother figure. I don't agree with it. Like, it goes back to the thing of like,
I don't particularly agree with a few bizarre changes in the plot.
Hey, I'm not saying
in the original backstories and stuff, because the original backstories were Cthulhu mythos kind of stuff.
I'm a huge fan of Silent Hill. I am not speaking towards the quality of the movie. That is a separate conversation.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the protagonist characterization here.
Although I'll still say though it was a good movie. It was a still very good and entertaining movie.
It was better than most video game movies.
It was better than the sequel, even as much as I like Sean Bean.
Sean Bean is awesome.
Oh yeah, every movie with Sean Bean is worth seeing just to see Sean Bean.
Although I like the meme of people are saying, people are like, hey, guess what? If you haven't seen the Game of Thrones, Ned Stark dies. You know how you know Ned Stark dies? Because he's played by Sean Bean. People get upset about spoilers, but guess what? Casting Sean Bean in a role at this point is tantamount to a spoiler. It's a much more shocking surprise when he survives a role.
Unless his name is Richard Sharp, he's not living he's not living.
I'm trying to remember the movie he survived in. He survived Troy.
Yep.
He wasn't important in Troy, I guess.
Well, he's Odysseus in Troy, actually. So, yeah, there was a sequel he never got that he would have also lived through and killed a bunch of people in. I think we've actually run out of steam for the night, though.
I haven't run out of steam.
Oh,
If you
God.
run out of steam, you let me know. I can keep going.
Oh,
If you want to kill the stream, don't put it on me. Oh, you can. I'll quote you for this one.
we had this moment of silence there, and I was like, we could always go back to the chat. I think that
I don't know. Is the chat bored with us? Are you guys done listening to us? Or you guys are just so enraptured that you're like, oh, we're just going to listen. This black guy knows what he's talking about.
what is it? Oh, shoot. Christian messaged you, note both pages. We'll wait until next week. Okay, so there won't be a page next week. Well, you saw the page, basically. I did a homage to the Batman comics, but I still got to do next week's page. I got to do the adults only page. Unfortunately, it's just I'm trying to get stuff done, and I've been busy as hell. And I've been they've been at work. I'm doing things where I can't draw like I typically do there.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, Ben works a lot.
Yeah,
and I've been here for about 2 weeks now, and when I'm not up to my own stuff, I've been helping him try to. I'm not an illustrator like he am. I'm only helping with some whatever touch up work I can on the computer side of things. There's only so much I can do to help.
Okay. Yeah.
And he works 500,000,000 hours.
And you see me finally working around this, and there's so many goofy things.
I can guarantee to
going
everyone
on right
here
now.
that any moment that was not spent running important errands or working, today alone has been spent on either on a drawing table or on a computer right here.
Yeah, and now that Trevor is between jobs, unfortunately, and hit this rough spot in his life, he's actually free to help me work on work on more pages. He's cleaning up line art work for me. He's doing the pre-shades and stuff for
And
other pages of Peter's the Wolf. So actually, yeah, book 2, and
I'm gonna toot my own horn because I'm not as busy as Ben and stuff. As I've been going through and I've been like handling details that Ben would ignore and shit. And it was like, you don't need to do it that much. I'm like, no, my OCD compels me. This line will be perfect.
and you guys can see me redrawing lines here and stuff too. So it's like all very much.
It's like, what's that one page that like I rebuilt an entire house.
Yeah, you rebuilt the entire house in a couple of pages. To do like out of line draw tools kind of things to make it look a lot better. A lot more.
I'm not a horrible illustrator, but I can do some things. But me and Ben definitely have
Very different styles and
styles.
approaches. I'm almost all. I mean, well, and then again, like you guys have often complimented me, I'm very intuitive and gestural and stuff. And of course, I have a degree with an accent on life drawing and illustration. While as Trevor's degree is
graphic design.
no,
Just graphic design, but just my
so he can actually look at I'll have kind of like, I don't like this ad, I don't like the way this ad looks, I don't like the way this particular or something other or this book cover looks, and Trevor can go in and point out, yeah, this is exactly why this sucks, or this is exactly why it's good, or this person didn't know what they were doing when they dragged and dropped this mess together. Gosh.
And this is where I'm going to make enemies and stuff. I don't read the comic. Like 2 or 3 years ago, I was reading it a little bit, but about 2 or 3 years ago, I just fell off of all webcomics, even if my awesome cousin makes it himself.
Justifiable in that. Well, it's justifiable because like I'm one of the people that's like almost every webcomic artist is the same because there's just not time. Every webcomics fan will start listening to a webcomics artist their favorite webcomics. They'll just sing the praises of these comics up and down the street, and it always comes to the thing of, well, if I ever had a 28-hour day, I would start reading these, but I've only got 24 hours. It's just simply not enough time today to look and read every single webcomic. And so that's why I've got a couple that I can commit to, like Ogloff.com.
I love Ogloff.
Everybody loves Ogloff. That person, she is a genius.
That's a female. It makes sense. That's a female doing it.
Oh yeah. There's certain, and that's why I'm so against. That's part of my problem with feminism is how often there is this
If you guys want to talk about
the
like
victimization, the professional victimization anti-sex league that kind of does more to silence voices instead of doing more to create more art, and because there are some sexual jokes, there's some bizarre and twisted styles of humor that you can only get from women. It's just and there's some things that will only come from men.
Life is a great thing if you want to talk about like sex and sexuality, because here is a comic book where it's primarily dealing with sex in ye old Dungeons and Dragon times of all places, and almost there's always people are naked and having sex, but surprisingly it's not about sex in a pornographic. You're not supposed to be necessarily getting aroused by what's going on. And I will go
Yes.
through that. I will very rarely have any kind of sexual arousal because people are having sex, but showing how absurd sex is or weird.
You know,
They, like,
the cock centipede or something, you know, and
and
yeah,
it goes evenly from men and women and homosexual and heterosexual relationships.
lesbians, blah blah blah, and
Like the one guy person who was cursed, like you are, like a man was cursed with having the best. You were give the best blowjobs of all time. Like, okay. His like it was a throwaway joke, and like 40 issues later, there's a hoarding armada coming in and stuff like. We shall ransack your village and we shall take you all and have our way with you and stuff. And the guy's like, all right. And the guy sucks the entire armada off so hard that they name him their king.
weird shit like that constantly. Delightful, bizarre. Another one I read, which only comes out I think every other week or so. So it's an easy one to follow up with, is Hamlet's Danish, and whoever's drawing that works these bizarre fucking jokes and builds. It's a very much a pig pearls before swine style, long build up to a cheap gag, often a really just horrible puns and jokes, delightfully so. And those are like the only two that I ever, and because they're like only a little bit of it every time, those are the only ones I can really afford to make time for. So yeah, Trevor's not reading my work. No big deal. I mean,
As a matter of fact, I'm reading Agloff right now because it just reminded me that it exists.
oh gosh,
And it's fucking hilarious.
oh yeah, the pirates one.
The pirate lesbians, like the lesbian pirates are doing a sex watch, and it's not like these three women are having this, or one's like quasi dressed up as a man and has a strap on, and like, oh look, they're like, is it an erotic display for us or a parody? It's like, if it's a parody, the humor's wasted on me, and it shows the woman like
There's a guy
blowing her load and falling asleep, and the lesbian pirates are disappointed, like, hey, you fucking assholes.
And that's like the first strip of a series. It builds from there. Meanwhile, look up Hamlet's Danish.
Hamlet's Danish. Never seen this one before.
Okay, look up that one. It's a really good one. And look how much work I'm getting done. You guys saw me scan. You saw me shade.
Just need somebody
You
to keep
saw
you
this.
motivated.
Now you see this one background element that I've reused a page before actually.
It's like the completion of this comic book will be fueled with political hotbed discussion.
Well, anything at Vanish News that we can find. I mean, I posted that Breitbart article, and that was a very and Nero's at Nero's of Gamergator too. And okay, I'm trying to think of what the hell else recently happened to the very friggin' controversial UVA rape story, now more and more looking like a rape hoax that was published a month ago, and Rolling Stone had to print a retraction just recently when it was getting, honestly, you know, when they're saying, you know, the you know, there's no evidence for the rape act, this gang rape on a bed of broken glass with a Fatty Arbuckle finisher.
I am laughing right now, but I'm laughing at this.
No, he's
at this Captain Danish thing. Or Hamlet's Danish. I am not laughing at the rape on the broken glass.
No. Although you could, you know, people will laugh nervously at really horrible stuff. That's one of the things that people, when they're reacting to news or whatever, do not get a mulligan on. Yes, people can hear something horrible and then laugh because, or be accused of something and they will laugh nervously. That's just sheer like. That's being rattled and not knowing how to deal with it. But
it's like a scared little boy.
But okay, well, read the Hamlet's Danish.
Well, this is a really wordy one. It's basically a stab at Captain Atom from
yeah.
DC Comics. It shows Captain Neutron. Captain Neutron uses his matter compression powers to shrink to Lilliputian levels. His lungs only able to process 3.4 cubic millimeters of air per second. He asphyxiates and falls off the table. It shows him like choking. It's like his sidekick tries to catch him, but Neutron's body pierces his hands with an 8 of 700 or 870 pounds of pressure per square inch. Shows this little thing like going like a bullet through this kid's hand. Casting out, Captain Neutron's powers fail, and the force of his sun expansion generates 400 pounds and 30 megajoules. It shows the whole building
blowing up in every direction.
It's like, that's it. The rest of the comic book is calculations showing his work. Neil deGrasse Tyson probably shouldn't write comics anymore.
And what I think there's like a note at the very end or something. Yeah, a pinned note. Please don't point out the flaws in my napkin math.
But I love that. Did you see Looper?
But I was gonna. But if I can go back to the. But this thing is like, okay, Gamergate and this MSNBC kerfuffle now. This very minor comparison to everything else. Just the MSNBC being jerks over the chloroform, chlorine store, gassing, and this UVA rape, where this Jackie person, I think the Jackie is even an assumed name. They haven't released the name of the woman who was supposed to have been the real name, because I think that this person doesn't exist, and this is another thing of a journalist trying to crank out as sensationalistic a story as, because we catch journalists doing this every few years.
Wait,
we just
journalists or games journalists?
Journalists, all journalists in general, will just fucking shortcut and cheap out on a story. Except, in this UVA thing, the reason why this hoax, this looking to be more and more a hoax, isn't funny, because people's lives will get ruined around this. And there's that nervous laughter. It's like, yeah, people are going to... This has serious repercussions for the school, for people attending there, for people... And the threat narrative paranoia that kicks up with it.
Looks like Kato's got a question.
Okay, Kato, what?
Oops.
Did you guys all mess... Oh, I'm not sure if you guys all missed this story. Yeah, just... it's a mess of a story out of, I guess, the University of Virginia that was part of a Rolling Stone article. And now...
We might be talking about your panel, because you have, like...
Oh.
Your stream's just still showing the double body image on there.
Oh.
It looks like Captain Hardbody there is like phasing out of reality like the Flash.
Okay.
So I like about to say fucking superheroes. All of them, when you break down how their powers work, it's pretty fucking ridiculous.
Oh yeah. It's pretty goddamn out there. Almost every one of them to a man. I think that's why people identify so much with Batman, is because
Well, even him. Well,
his power is money and psychosis. But
there are so many problems with Batman, and it's only only a handful of his gadgets are in the level of bullshit. A lot of the stuff is there. The problem is one, doesn't matter how good of a shape you are, you can't maintain the activities that Batman does and not have your body just fall to shit.
Oh yeah,
very quickly.
Well, yeah, that's the very it's him and James Bond.
And there's that aspect of it. Another problem with Batman is that he is like fighting every night. He goes out, he fights criminals and ninjas and
how does the Masquerade not immediately fall the frack apart?
It's probably like New York or any kind of major city in the comic book. They need constant action. But guess what? I come from Flint, which is consistently considered the most dangerous city in America. And guess what? I don't have fucking ninjas prowling the streets or superheroes, and it's not a constant war zone that I need masked vigilante to defend myself.
God damn. I'm just imagining gangs of... And that is kind of funny, because you can't do realistic gang activity in comic books. And this is why,
Batman rarely deals with black thugs. That's a racist topic he doesn't want any part of.
does anybody in the movies really?
Not
And
really.
that's a business. Yeah, it's like how many times is how many times does a liquor store like get knocked over
It's so much easier to go after the mafia.
by just a black criminal? It's almost always a tofu guy. And that's where that editorial in defense of that recent editorial in defense of Guybrush Threepwood is the white guys in Western media essentially are tofu. They come with no baggage, so you can treat them as shitty as you want, and nobody will really get offended, or at least nobody who matters,
Yeah.
like men. But it's there's no cultural or there's no assumption of implication for others. If a woman, if you create a woman, Galbrush Threepwood, who is or something, who is if you can portray a woman as a lecherous drunk, or you're saying something awful about all women, or it's assumed by the people who will seek to profit off of professional victimhood. And that's also another thing that's irritating is the disingenuousness.
Kata says, anyone got a bone saw I can borrow?
Bone saw is ready. I'm not sure what the bone saw is about, though.
I hope you don't need to cut a bone, Kato. Are you hiding the body?
But yeah, it's just. But yeah, I think you got a lot of people who are. You got the journalism game has gotten to the point where people literally give so little fucks about what they're actually publishing. They don't care who gets ruined anymore, or what the repercussions are of a story. But then again, it's hard to say that. It's hard to say anymore when they never really care to begin with. Because if you look at the days of yellow journalism, when American journalists just looking to sell papers started the Boxer Rebellion. With an article about how America was going to buy and move the Great Wall of China. So literally, thousands slaughtered because of lack of journalistic integrity.
I think,
It's like every few years, a crop of journalists has to relearn this fucking lesson that, oh yeah, your stories matter. And if you're just making stories up, you're going to, this is going to bite more than just you on the ass.
there is I think most journalists, when they come out of journalism school, wherever the fuck they go, they have the idea that they're going to go out and they're going to do great things, and they're going to report on wars, and they're going to uncover massive corruption and basically be superheroes with a patent. To some degree.
And I think, but I think another odd aspect of that is so few of them actually now have journalism degrees, because we're in the age of this blogger. I mean, what is it? Leigh Alexander, one of the figures that a lot of people don't like for her censoring tactics on in Gamergate. She was the Gama Sutra writer who wrote one of the 10 Gamers Are Dead articles. Her degree is in acting. She's not a journalist. She is an actress.
Well,
given that we haven't seen her on the silver screen, I suppose this was her backup plan, if it was a plan at all.
Well, what exactly is a journalist? The biggest thing is, anyone who's studied ethics for a while, that's all you really need, and able to hold a pen and write somewhat coherently. So I don't know, maybe there's more stringent, the elite code of journalists. Not in video games, that's for goddamn sure.
Oh, yeah. Honestly.
And I'm not even talking about the Gamergate thing. I was saying, before the Gamergate stuff, the idea of wanting, great truth and, fucking...
product review, really, but also...
These guys, they're glorified bloggers. Most of them are self-admitted to so, at least Kotaku was until they pulled it or whatever. They're not uncovering any great truths and stuff. For the most part, most gaming journalists serve only as mouthpiece to the PR departments of varying gaming companies anyway. They dare not say anything that's contrary to what any kind of company is saying, because then they're going to lose all of their early access rights, and then they won't be able to cover any of the games. And it's like, I don't even know, like, these aren't really important issues. This is my big problem with hashtag Gamergate. Fucking, I don't care what the issue is. This is about video games, and nothing that anyone has been accused of at all in the entire controversy warrants any of the fucking vitriol that they has been put on them. I don't care if it's Zoe Quinn or fucking corrupt gamers. It's like, this is fucking video games.
And it certainly doesn't justify what oh, there's another thing that happened in fandom recent. Pleb Comics got doxxed. Pleb Comics at Tumblr.com, and I discovered her right when she posted a joke, and because she had done this really cute, just little editorial cartoon about, of all things, it was right at the beginning of the Halloween season, and I liked her work. I'm not sure if she's trans to woman or from. Damn it. I haven't investigated her life that much, but then she got friggin' doxxed. They started her anti-Gamergaters because she's well. I think there's almost there's the Tumblr feminist, and she had a lot of comics that make fun of that, specifically of the way people act on the obnoxious way that people trend towards acting on Tumblr. That that is just seems to be so very you had a lot of other people doing like video series or whatnot, breaking down like some of the more asinine self-important behavior on that site that's been going around for a while now and irritating the rest of everybody else.
It's like
but when she gets tied into this shit, they feel free to harass her workplace, and so she loses a job over this.
Yeah, and this is why I'm like, for some things are worth discussing, like feminism, everything like that, because it's not so much it extends beyond the immediate thing that they're talking about. It is an ongoing conversation about the current state of our culture and our status quo, which is an important conversation to have. But people are hunting ID, personal information, and coming up like all these there's like they have fucking like Zoe Quinn's emails and shit. They got into her account. They have all this fucking information and how they know where she lives and all these other people with other things. And there's like reams of documents on there. It took me about while we're talking about this, it took me about 5 seconds. I'm on Ben. What am I on right now?
The FBI.gov.
Yep.
Top 10.
I have found the FBI's top 10 most wanted people right now. Fucking all these people with all these want great social, want great justice and a better world that we're living in here and stuff, and have the ability to find all this information. Fucking here's top 10 people who could probably deserve
Aggro's GGs. You're saying Aggro's GGs turn your real life video game into hunting down these mofos?
Fucking, I don't care if Zoe Quinn sucked 10 million dicks to get her game, and you know what? Maybe she has a boyfriend, and maybe her game might have got there on her own merits. I don't fucking care, because the reaction that's happened at this point is not proportionate to the quote unquote crime that was committed. It does not add up.
It's offense through hypocrisy. Because the journalists involved were all guys trying to tell us how to treat women and how to live our lives and stuff, when they then turn the hypocrite in regard to a gal that they figure they can all seduce through the power of the press.
Well, this is where the situation comes. This is where the situation, one incident breaks into 5 different ways. Now, what are we talking about? Are we talking about ethics in game journaling? Are we talking about feminism and women betrayal? Are we talking about manipulation? Are we talking about fucking all these conversations that we have? And it's like you start off with many people start off with one and they go off to another one. So it's like what's the specific argument and stuff? Do I agree that people should not give blowjobs to give positive game score? Sure. Do I really care? No. Fucking the idea of a legitimate game, like a game review, is not some almighty consumer, like, oh, if my trusted people at IGN
But there's also
don't
then-
give me the
but
accurate information of a game,
There's
how will I
later,
know?
but the thing is also there's also accusations that she had used these relationships that she then established to shut other people out of the industry through nepotism. In degrees of nepotism. So it's like these guys in the press are impacting the livelihood of others by trying to play gatekeepers.
I'm going to keep saying I don't give a fuck until I hear a crime worthy of being accused of being threatened with rape and death. Until one of these accusations comes across my table, I don't give a fuck what she did.
Not saving? File. It's not bringing down the file save menu.
It's like, so she talked to some people to get her own shitty game promoted. I don't know, it could be a great game. I never played. I don't know what it's about. So she did something to get her own game promoted, and might have got someone's game of equal quality knocked down. It doesn't really matter. It's not like video game reviews are like these sacred things in the first place.
Open recent. Okay, it's all there.
I mean, we listen to some of the similar podcasts. We have
I think
game journalists talking.
And we listen to a lot of the game journalists, and it's like just video. And I think that's also why the more rapidly politicized this. Well, it started off political because really Kotaku shifted from fandom to political editorial on fans. I mean, I remember I one of the few times I ever clicked on their links and decided, well, I'm not going to support them anyways. Is they shut down Tentacle Bento, which is a game that Christopher Street actually sells through White Lightning Productions at the booths because it's a harmless game with cheesecakey art that makes fun of the anime hentai tropes, which are now so well worn that we all just everybody kind of rolls around their eyes at them, and that's why this game is kind of made to just kind of make fun of these old horror cliches. That's HOARY it's a different word, means different things, but and it's a funny. The game itself is no more offensive than a Benny Hill sketch or a Monty Python or something like that, like a British comedy sketch where they would get away with something a little racier or a little good girl arty stuff kind of thing, and it's all based around like goofy, stupid puns. But a Kotaku article labeling this thing as like being about tentacle rape and being and being demeaning to women and blah 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 blah. Got the Kickstarter killed right after it had been funded in the early stages. Now they still managed to crowdfund on the site because it was Soda Pop Miniatures that was doing this, and they tend to put out some quality work, but it was like a dickbag move on a project that was sight unseen. You prejudged this thing and made a bunch of radical assumptions based around your political ideology. And that's, I think, also part of what's playing into Gamergate is people that are just getting pissed off that all of a sudden their recreation, their escape from a world of people talking heads screaming at each other while trying to sell their book is all of a sudden getting politicized.
Well, politics.
I can't remember. What movie was it? Some character going, I've got no... Was it Stripes that they had John Candy saying, I've got nowhere left to go? That's us, man. Just fucking let us.
That's the thing.
And it's like, it's why you're riding us. And you're riding us specifically because you want us to sign on to a political agenda. And you're making assumptions. And where Sarkeesian tries to throw her hat into the Gamergate ring, deliberately to get more attention, so she can get more money because so many of these people are shills. So many people are talking heads with a book to sell, right? But it's also like we were admitting earlier. She cherry picks. She's not a gamer. She cherry picks. So no, all these problems that you have, there are games that already on the books and in the market that have addressed these things, and they sell to the according. How many times have the talk radar guys said go play Okami, and how many times have we actually had this one game released again and again and again with a very different playstyle, a very different heroine, or a protagonist, you know, and to ignore something as huge as the internet because of one pebble you got in your shoe, or you think you're going to be able to make and of course she never made her stuff, and all this criticism is. And all the criticism from the Gawker media sites, they aren't being made for. All this criticism isn't being made for gamers anyways. It's being made for outsiders to judge gamers upon.
Here's the thing, and this is something that we spent most of the last like 2 decades fighting, is, are video games a form of art? If your answer is yes, then okay, we are now on the world stage, you know, and we need to be open to criticism, and we need to know like what we are not, and are we going to say that women are invited or not? If we are, we're going to say, you know, women's opinions are going to matter and stuff. Now we're going to say,
but we would never trust art. We would never trust criticism of like visual art, like paintings and stuff, to somebody who did not even have even the most rudimentary education in art history.
Because this is something that all art has to deal with. Fucking painting, sculptures, music, everything. Once you're on that stage, you are subjected to all kinds of things. Fucking Michelangelo making statues of naked. The Sistine Chapel was considered scandalous because they were like, Michelangelo, we were going to give you all this money to paint glorious visions of the Bible all over our ceiling, and like several years later, they look up at the ceiling like, dude, what's with all the naked men on my ceiling? This is not what I paid for, you know. And it's like there's a conversation to be had there. I'm not saying like you can't go.
And oddly enough, that was the thing that really caught on, because it was like, because he's a man. He's the best thing ever. He's the height of a glory and a reason. And the male nude became a major subject of artwork from then on.
And it kickstarted a revolution where the glorious form of the man is something to be idealized, and the shameful vision because that's when all the art pictures after following that were all the men statues, the men painting and stuff, and they could only get they have celebrities and gladiators and all these rich, wealthy people to pose as these men. We were just watching that documentary.
Yeah,
the other day,
Tony Robbins' worst jobs in history.
Who dared to pose as the women who would be in a scandalous drawing of themselves and stuff, or even if they're the vision of the Madonna and stuff. Whores that considered what they were doing to be worse than prostitution. Is posing to
naked. And a really bizarre thing is there's medieval artwork of the Madonna with the bare breasts. You know, she's squirting this, she goes squirting right in the mouth. That's a holy metaphor. We put it up on the church wall. Everybody gonna get it. Don't worry. You just say the thing about people going to heaven, they're gonna get it. It's right there from the Holy Virgin, right there, right off there.
But I'm saying
the right or the left, because the Madonna, she can for either or. She can squirt out the right and off the left.
But we have our video games now.
I'm sorry, I wasn't drawing there. I was playing with my man boobs.
We have our video games, and we're now on the world stage, and we are open to every Tom, Dick, and Harry with their Yahoo opinions. But there's an underlying thing that you have to remember. If video games are art, art is a reflection of our society. And in that case, we need to listen. We need to at least listen to everybody. I'm not saying we need to accept everything 100%, but we should at least listen and give due consideration to various things.
When the opinion is you don't have the right to speak at all, like in Australia now. And that is and I think now somebody has now put a change.org petition up to say, and it's a petition for change.org to change its own policies that when people to basically say to not allow people who are essentially trying to get stuff boycotted or pulled from shelves or censored through any means, to not allow these very petitions, because when they say it was kind of funny because it was like right at the point where people are saying, oh, we don't want to censor, we don't want to take away the video games you already like, and then you fucking took away Grand Theft Auto 5 in Australia. Explain what steps next. And that's the thing, is like
Australia has they have a long history with these problems.
And Grand Theft Auto 5, to their credit, has a long history of making fun of Australia. Ever since the days of Vice City, they were making fun of Australia.
There we go. Fuck Australia. But no, fuck Australia. Goddamn criminals.
Yeah, your entire continent's a prison colony. Still,
but that's
we still can say.
That's an incident of censorship. That is something that should be looked at and discussed to great lengths and stuff. That's something that should be a major concern. Censorship is never good, because I swear, if you think that whatever information that you like, if you think your fragile state of being is going to be destroyed by censoring pieces of information that are mostly just opinions and ideas, if it can be so easily undone, then perhaps your ideology is not the stable foundation that you think it is.
Yeah.
I've got a copy of Mein Kampf in my fucking library and shit. I'm not a fucking neo-Nazi.
Pretty hard for you to join up.
But no, the conversation needs to be had and stuff.
How do you guys like this new style of night blogging? But yeah, conversation needs to be had. Oh, man. Well, I went to bed a little bit late and got up early, so we're probably both running on fumes at this point of the night, 2 a.m.
Usually I try to go to bed at 2 a.m. I'm going to check my computer messages, find out everything I'm missing out on today, so...
Yeah, he's in the middle of the winter. Trevor is in the middle of the winter court. If any of you guys are a Legend of Five Rings fan,
the answer is no.
Trevor is your man.
No one plays L5R. Not many people have even heard of the game. So yeah, whenever I hear #Gamergate, I'm like, all right, let's stop right there. Which of the 37 issues that are surrounding this shitstorm are you talking about, so we can have a proper conversation? Same thing with Ferguson. Yeah. This Ferguson is about. Stop right there. If you say one noun to describe what freaking Ferguson is about, you're wrong. Because it was an incident that has grown and pulled in several, dozens of other factors in around it.
And tragically, it pulled in so much misinformation through social media that, I mean, really, that it's the point that the more people just blow up and rely on gossip and hearsay, the harder it is to get at justice. I mean, we almost now and this is the problem of any trial nowadays. Now that the trial hits the 24-hour news networks, and you got these TV channels who fire off half-assed things. It's not just this one. We've been watching this time and time again over the last decade and a half, since the big swing of the 24-hour news network. It's so hard for anyone to get a fair trial because the news just will base if you didn't miss the update, if all you saw was the first initial story where we actually knew nothing and we're just saying anything that it could be, and you believe that, and you didn't watch 15 hours later when we actually had our first details coming in, you will fucking believe you went away with that one thing, and then it's harder to sway your opinion. So how do we find an unaffected jury in the modern day?
There is that whole thing is that's one aspect of it. There's, like I said, there's many things. My opinion of Ferguson, man, we're talking politics now. is I'm not even going to the shooting. You know what? As someone who's former military myself, I know like sometimes I don't know. Not knowing the details of going on, I can say like I'm willing to give everyone the benefit of the doubt, both sides, because when you're in that tense situation, quick decisions have to be made, and you know what? There are very often not clear yes or no, and sometimes there's various reasons of gray in between of what is the correct decision to make in this situation. Not judging like that, only someone who is looking at all the available evidence can make a decision on that one. So anyone who hears half truths and is jumping to conclusions, you're wrong. If you don't know the whole story, you're wrong. Probably if you know all the events, you can have an informed decision, but probably like as I say, don't quote me. Keep in mind, you probably don't know the full fucking story, so keep room for doubt.
And the annoying thing is this story is the annoying thing is the Ferguson story ate up so much airwave, and maybe that was because it was the one that was easy to keep controversial. But you know, in the same summer, we've got a young black man shot 6 times in the back while he's cosplaying and carrying. And I'm not sure. And unfortunately, I only know that yes, he had live steel essentially, but I don't know if he was out of the sheath even, or if he was posing for photos or something when he was gunned down. And I think, but this is also the bizarre paranoia of throwing all these cops in the street just to say, now you're all safe. That we've got these guys running around with guns all over to keep you safe.
Well, that's the shit. So I honestly think race came in later. It was a close second to what really happened. The core of the Ferguson area is the people who, like I said, only the people who have the information can make the decision.
Yeah.
It's the people who had the information were unwilling to discuss it. The officials in Ferguson had the idea they can either have a public discourse about this thing, or we could try to sweep it under the rug, and they put their stormtroopers out on the streets,
And
so people are only pulling out like they're naturally coming to the worst of their own conclusions.
and that's another part of the problem is the unioning up so often when there's at the possibly extreme incompetence, or possibly there was an altercation, and that's the annoying thing, and then maybe that's why this is clinging on so much, because it got so polluted so quickly that and people unioned up so damn tightly is that it's going to be a long time before we ever really know.
Because if you remember that the original controversy coming from Ferguson was not race related at all that you were hearing about. It was the over militarization of local police force.
Yeah,
because instead of talking to people, they had tanks and riot guns, and like people were like saying, "Don't shoot me." That the whole start of that hashtag didn't start because the people, like the cop involved, shot the kid. It's because the riot police had automatic weapons, and what started off as peaceful protests, they were like aiming live weapons at these people, and it was actually the pushback, which is actually severed the Ferguson protesters into 2 groups. You have the peaceful protesters who want peaceful discourse, and you have the rioters who are just angry and just looking for a place to vent anyway, and then some assholes who just are just looking for an excuse to vent. I don't like.
Oh wait, there's one final group.
What's that?
The shills.
The
talking heads with a book to sell us. God damn it! That's another thing.
Like race comes into it and stuff. You have the Panthers and the KKK were both involved in this and stuff, and Sharpton and the news media were just saying both like the Republican right are saying one thing and the liberal left are saying another thing, and they're just like saying anything to get both sides of the thing stoked up.
They're gosh. The news, and this is another thing where the viral misinformation in the news media, they're getting you to try and sit through the next 4 minutes of advertisements until the next segment on the 24-hour friggin' news network. And damn it, you guys don't care how much property, how much, and they're not going to care 10 years down the road of how bad things have gotten there because of these riots. I mean, how long is it going to take for Detroit to recover from 1968?
I live in Flint, like I don't know. I don't know the answer. It's you need wealthy people. Like unfortunately, you need a Tony Stark to come in and fucking pull the thing, and that's actually where we're talking about like the ridiculous of superheroes. That goes back. Batman. The greatest problem with Batman, of all the things it is all the time and money he invests into being Batman. If he invested it into jobs for the lower class in Gotham City, crime would disappear a lot faster than him running around dressed as a bat, punching people in the throat.
But what about being the knight? What about Rachel Dawes? It is 2 a.m. though, guys.
2 a.m.
And
You seem like you're fading.
yeah, we're both fading out.
I'm
I
not
hope you
fading.
guys, those of you who stayed, have enjoyed us. We'll probably edit this out, cut this up into maybe a couple of 2-hour segments or something.
I'll cut
God.
it. I'm not editing it. Fuck that noise.
Yeah.
You get the wrong dick. Courtesy of Chris Overstreet.
Oh God, dude. I'm Ben Rodriguez, aka Marwin Scorpio, artist in the webcomic Peter is the Wolf at peteristhewolf.com. I'd love to thank you for listening. For night, this is my cousin Trevor.
I'm Trevor Cuba, Magic Black Man.
God. And good night, team.
I've got some white people to go
we will
counsel through their life
catch you
troubles.
next time. Oh gosh. That was a good Key and Peele sketch though. The magical black men that were like in a wizard battle night. Thanks, Gatos. Thanks for sticking up with us, man.